Hello and welcome to Bunto's Silent Dogfight, episode number 12, Mark Eunoia. Our special guest, Mark Eunoia. And as per our usual procedure, we're going to open up the interview to participants afterwards, thanks. Then we give you a quick nutshell background of our special guest, Mark. He's located in the south coast of England, a single father, a G-plus atheist of note, and besides G-Man, probably the most blocked individual in all of the great debate community we have here. Mark, how you doing tonight?
I'm very well, thank you. You?
I'm pretty good. Just
Well, 1 a.m.
another week down the count for me, my birthday month. Okay, Mark, how have the Hangouts been going in general, please?
Yeah, I enjoy them. I haven't been on so many lately. Been into Nadia's a few. Yeah,
You do about what, 5 Hangouts a day, a week, right?
a week, yeah, probably
You're
about that.
like, addicted to Hangouts, correct?
I wouldn't say addicted. I just find people if I can get in them. I work from home sometimes, so if I can get in them, I just find them interesting. Find most of the people interesting. I try and learn something, have a laugh along the way.
Okay,
Bit of
have
fun.
you replaced your entire social life with Hangouts?
Um, yeah, probably in a way. Yeah, well, being a single father, I don't get much chance to get out.
All right.
So yeah, it is a bit of a social life, yeah,
Okay.
and it's
Oh,
better than TV.
it is better than TV. I think so.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, how long have you been on G Plus, Mark?
I would say about 2.5 years, something like that. A couple of
Okay,
years.
and what was your first impression when you got on?
Well, initially I was on Twitter quite a lot,
Right.
and then I started to notice a couple of videos posted on there. They were fundamentally flawed videos, which I thought were really interesting. Some were really funny, and so, yeah, I sort of gravitated towards G Plus from there. Realised there was somewhere you could go to actually speak to people rather than spend time typing out on Twitter all the time.
Okay,
And
pretty
that,
good. Just for the benefit of our audience, fundamentally flawed is Alex Botton's outfit.
yeah, it's not going any longer, but it was great. It was Alex and Matt Hunt and Jim Gardner, and they had various fundies, theists, and other guests on. Um, Sometimes as like a panel. Sometimes it was just Alex talking to people.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
know
really
Alex
good.
Botton, right? You're buddies with him?
Not well. I say we were friendly. Things have soured a bit lately, but
Oh,
unfortunately.
had a
But
falling out or
yeah, falling out here and there. But that happens. But yeah, yeah, he's very good at what he does.
okay, is he like, the ultimate Christian, well, I would say foil. I mean, he's just like, a useful idiot to me as far as, people like G-Man. I mean, do you
Yeah, but
take Alex Botton seriously?
yeah. I think he
Does he have
what
any weight
fundament.
at all, or is he like a feather?
Oh yeah, I think sadly he's not as not as well.
Formidable?
He's not on as much as he. But then he's probably run out of people to drag into the light and point and laugh at. Um,
Okay.
he's done all the big names, which is
Okay,
but
but like, why does he like enable G-Man? That's just, his money.
I think that's almost there. I mean, it's not just to be fair, it's not just Alex. I think there are quite a few that are almost in some sort of symbiotic relationship. They sort of can't do without each other. Maybe I don't know. They sort of bounce off each other sometimes. I think.
Okay, Alex Botton made G-Man, right?
Well, I don't know. Well,
I mean, okay,
um,
tell me how G-Man came about. I mean, I think
but,
Alex Botton made G-Man.
well, G-Man obviously and Alex were going before I even joined in the quote unquote community, so I wouldn't know the exact history. But I would certainly say Alex has helped the likes of G-Man and vice versa, and Jason Burns and a few others.
Jason Burns.
Mm, yeah, I like Jason.
You like him?
Well, he's entertaining, put it that way. I don't know him personally, but I think he's very entertaining. I think
You haven't like,
G-Man's.
walked down the street and seen this guy yelling at cars?
I, I'd like to go to Manchester and yell back. That'd be quite funny. Or go to Jersey and with a bullhorn and yell back at G-Man. That'd be quite funny.
Okay, so like all of a sudden, the English people, all the English half of the great debate community help G-Man climb to the top of the pinnacle. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I think primarily I see G-Man as an entertainer. I mean, obviously
Yes.
he clearly believes in what he says in relation to his religious beliefs. He clearly, believes all that 100%. I don't think anyone's ever going to change him. But I think he would admit himself he's an entertainer. I think I heard him say once he was on mini TV, and I think he's very clever at what he does. The way he does it, he whips up interest when he opens a hangout, preaches a little bit, talks shit a little bit about people,
Okay,
enrages people.
look, I know the mechanics of G-Man. Have you
Mm.
talked to him?
I've spoken to him a couple of times and managed to. I think I caught him on an off-air hangout a while back on Tonya's channel or Eve's, and we were talking about anything but religion. It's just a normal bloke.
A normal bloke.
Yeah, I guess the way he came across. We
Okay,
talked about films and books and stuff like that.
you're looking at the way Alex Botten made G-Man, and we have somebody named Mac here in our, you could do the same thing with Mac, right? Make him, it's
Mac,
like Boys to Men, In Sync, Kid and Play. You could make a boys band equivalent of G-Man.
Mac just amazes me. I think but he's a literalist, of course, a Bible literalist. So,
What do you think? You think Mac has as much star power? Is he just like a younger G-Man?
mm, no,
Think
I don't
about
know.
it.
I mean,
Mac
yeah,
as G-Man replacement.
if
We
Mac,
want something more fresh.
if he had his own channel, he could be a bit like a Star Wars reference, I suppose. G-Man could be the master, and Mac could be the apprentice, maybe.
Okay, if you had to listen to somebody for like 6 hours, it would be Mac.
No, I'd rather listen to G-Man.
Okay? Why?
Yeah.
Tell me why. What does G-Man have over Mac?
Some stuff he says is absolutely outrageous. Obviously, some stuff he says can be insulting, and then other stuff is just really funny.
Okay,
He is. Sometimes it's so ridiculous, it's funny. And then, I
okay.
mean, he obviously knows his Bible and stuff like that. But I wouldn't take that away from him. But
Well, Mac just resuscitates, regurgitates the Bible. On
yeah,
I remember you were having that conversation of why people born in the Middle East are Muslim. It's where you're born is what religion you are, right? Remember that, the geography
yes,
of your
yeah,
belief.
yeah.
And
And Mac,
then you asked him to go, he said he knew it, and you said something like, "Oh, look it up," and then he said, "Okay, I have it right here," and you said, "Okay, look it up," and he recited the Bible, right?
yeah,
I mean, it's his go-to, so he's just.
that's what makes me laugh about Mac. Sometimes you can ask him, and he
I,
says,
I think Mac
"Hang
is
on, hang on," and
adorable.
you go, "Hang on," he says, "Hang on, hang on," and you can hear him going. You can hear him actually reading the Bible under his mumbling it, and the God, Lord said, "No, it's not that one." And then he goes to the
Right.
next verse, and then Jesus said, "No, it's not that one." And it's just I find that hilarious.
Okay, people
I
like
can, I, can- I
Mac.
can I can imagine Mac in a restaurant, and the waiter says, "What do you like
What do
to
you?
order?" And
Right.
he gets his Bible out, says, "Oh, hang on, just Romans chapter 9. No, I'll have the salad, please."
Right. Um. Okay. Let me see.
But I mean,
I got a bad segue here. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
in relation to G-Man, I think G-Man is to me anyway, in my opinion, is a character, same as Ran. They're playing
Yes.
characters, and some people sort of don't know. Perhaps we need to realise that a bit more. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I mean, yes, we should view these people as characters and not like take what they say so, to heart, I should say. Like they get actual hatred in their heart for people like G-Man.
Yeah,
Um, I can't say the same for somebody like Brett Keane. I mean, Brett Keane is just such a master of getting you to like dislike him. Uh,
I
you know,
well, Brett Keane, I think is just a hideous human being. I
right?
don't think.
Okay? That's what I was going to ask. Have you tried to like Brett Keane? I have. I just
So I tried to like him. I tried to in the past, thinking, well, perhaps he's misunderstood, or perhaps, but
right.
he's not. He's
Hitler
not.
was
He's just.
misunderstood.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say Brett Keane's worse than Hitler, but he's just a hideous human being. I can't think of any redeeming feature that I've seen on with Brett that makes me think. I don't know. There's nothing there. Nothing at all.
Okay, would you characterize yourself as a Nadian? Like I do, I characterize myself as a Nadian, as a
A
dissenter.
Nadian.
Somebody who's
Um,
always in the Nadian hangout, seems like. I float in and out.
I think from the point of view of going into Hangouts, Nadia, it could be argued, provides a platform to people to go and say what they want to say. The moderation's not much there, but that's Nadia. She likes to let people just go off and say what they want to say. Sometimes there's screaming matches. Sometimes there's really interesting things.
Well, I think of her like we have these, 24/7 shops, Mark, like 7-Elevens. It's like the
hmm
7-Eleven of G Plus. She's on 24/7.
hmm
Go in and get your, coffee and candy bar any time of the day.
Well,
You
yeah,
can go into a hangout, hopefully, and have a conversation.
more often than not, if I'm working from home, I'll have Nadia's Hangouts on all the time, listening.
Oh, really?
Because sometimes you get then get people like Christian Hillbilly will go in, he'll do his spiel. Sometimes Tommy Hall goes in. Then there's a few regulars, and then if I get a chance, sometimes I'll
You're going
join in.
yourself.
Yeah, if you might hear something and think, "Fucking hell, that's just that's terrible, that's wrong," or and you go in
Okay, so,
to say your piece.
you hear my voice in the hangout, and you want to come and join in, or you want to turn it off.
No, I can normally come in when you're in there. Yeah, I think you're quite provocative sometimes. I think you tend to you're a little bit devil's advocate sometimes, I would
That's
say.
what they say. They say they can't pick me out. Somebody sent me a message saying that people want me to agree with them, and that's how come they find me so maddening.
Yeah, I think it's quite deliberate with you in a way. It seems that way that you'll say things to get a reaction. Well, not reaction. Maybe I don't know.
Well, maybe I am.
Yeah,
I'm trolling.
not no, I wouldn't say trolling because it's not abusive and it's not. You just pose questions that are more a sort of devil's advocate type thing.
I say I'm trying to bring up the other end of the argument.
Yeah, try and spark things off. Yeah.
Okay. Well, talking about Nadia Hangouts, you ever find it hard to get into those, Mark?
I well, yeah, because I've crossed swords with the 2 or 3 people that um
2 or 3 people.
maybe 4 or 5 maybe that have blocked me. So yeah, but
Okay, you're the most blocked individual besides G-Man.
so you say, yeah. Apparently, so someone
That's what they say. How did you get to that
they
point, Mark? I mean,
I,
that's a badge of honor to me.
yeah, I don't know whether it's a badge of honor or a rite of passage. I don't know. I don't set out deliberately to upset people, but obviously some people I do. I just
Okay, Mark, think hard. How did you get blocked?
well, with one individual particularly, it was disagreeing with that person's
Pseudoscience?
living as such, how they
Oh,
earn a
living.
living, um, and their views on it was alternative medicine, let's say.
Okay.
Um, and so I just sort of called it as I saw it and said that it was quackery, and that person took.
And then the adorable thing now of getting blocked is mentioning G-Man's actual name.
Apparently, yeah.
So that helped in, the blocking.
I'm with
Okay.
Hog. G-Man's not blocked. I'm not blocked with G-Man as far as I know. I mean, I'm with
But other
Hogtie.
people, they go ahead and they're surrogates. As soon as they heard you mention his name, they blocked you out.
Who, me?
Yeah, that's what, weren't you a part of the people that were like, what would you, nah, the guy says his name himself. You said his name, right?
Oh,
Isn't it weird the way of treating it? It's almost like, Islam or something. Gary.
yeah. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not blocked by G-Man. I mean, I'm not one of the.
The
No,
doc droppers. Like, well, are we doc droppers? I mean, the guy says his name and then we repeat it, so we're doc dropping?
no, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I think it's everyone can see that G-Man intentionally or unintentionally dropped himself by revealing his name in another video. But I'm with Hogtie on the notion that if G-Man says he doesn't want his name mentioned, then why poke that hornet's nest? Just call him G-Man.
Okay, so that's your thing now. You caved in and you're not going to call him.
I don't think I ever used his real name anyway.
I thought you did. Well, I thought that's one
No,
reason
no,
why everybody gets blocked.
no. I'm not blocked by G-Man as far as I know.
Okay, all right.
Well, I think
Okay.
G-Man ought to go back to doing what he quote unquote does best, just his religious stuff he did before, and because
What he does best is spectacle.
yeah, his own hangouts where he this back and forth and poking.
Okay. You look at G-Man as a religious man,
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, yeah.
or do you look at him like P.T. Barnum?
Bit of both probably. He's a bit of a showman, bit of an entertainer, but
Showman.
I think mainly he is. He believes in what he says and what he, you couldn't
Okay, you
say
take him
he's.
at face value that he is a religious advocate. He's not.
Yeah, I think he's got to. He knows his Bible pretty well, so you can't say that that's all fake. He does know what is what is
He's
the
gonna look at
Bible.
as like the tunesmith of the whole community. The guy who lays down the beat.
Well, he does. Yeah, he does his raps as well. So he's the all round. He does know how to have a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh. And I did find it funny when he went into Talking Shit Tuesday, and he talked shit, which is what it's for. And then there were a few that were outraged by what he was saying. Well, hang on, it was Talking Shit Tuesday, and he went in there to make sure that he probably gave himself some more views and something else to talk about for the week afterwards, and win himself a couple of awards,
I mean,
or JD's awards.
there's a reason that he's climbed to the pinnacle of the pyramid. All right, let me focus here for a sec. Sorry for being so unfocused. Okay, the blocking craze. All right, is it effective? What do you think?
It's probably not.
Okay, you make me mad, I block you, and then I can't get into Hangouts because you block me. I mean,
It doesn't help conversation. That's for
that's
sure.
right.
It's not conducive to conversation. But we all do it. I've done it. Um,
Okay, why do you block people?
I don't think I've got that many blocks, to be honest. Maybe two or three, really, a few thick shades accounts, or people that are just obvious trolls that just want to give you a bit of abuse. And there's been a bit of reciprocal blocking from people I've fallen out with recently, but that happens. I'm not going to moan and cry about it. And
Gee,
that's either.
why do you block a nice guy like Thick Shades?
I, d- I
I
suppose
was
apart
at a Hangout today. He seems like a nice guy, friendly.
from, I think because he's got himself a reputation for dock dropping or going after people in a certain way. So I
Right?
think more to safeguard things. I decided to block two or three of his accounts that I've seen that have done exactly that. Gone after. But he's not really come after me. I don't think. I've not really had much to do with him, to be honest.
Okay, of all the people in our community, Mark, you've been here for over 2 years. Like, who do you definitely? I mean, they come into the Hangout, you go the other way, or it's just antipathy towards.
Don't think I ever have.
Oh, really?
I did with Brett for a while because when he was involved with Josh Shelley and some unsavory stuff. But
Okay, for our audience, that's Raspberry.
yes, yeah, yeah. Oh, dog chopping again.
Oh, is that called dog dropping? I mean, that's
No,
the guy's
everyone
trying to
knows
make
his
money
name.
off his book,
He's written a book under his own name.
right?
Um, yeah. So, well, say book. It's not,
Charitable.
it's not
All
really a
right.
book.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Let's hit that real quick. Doc dropping. I mean, explain to me what that is, just for the sake of our audience. What is doc?
I understand it to be if you've not been known by any other name than your G plus name, and somebody finds out your name and lets it be known, then that's doc dropping, or puts out any other personal information that's not otherwise already out in the public domain.
Okay, like Mark Eunoia.
Yeah, well, when I first joined G plus, I did go under my actual name for a little while, and then after the incident with Mr. Raspberry, I decided to drop my second name, but most people probably know it anyway.
Okay, Mark Eunoia. Explain that name to me. I thought it was
It's
your real name.
No, a few people have actually. There was a thing with Gmail a while back when he just couldn't pronounce it, and he called me Mark Aurora, Mark Honoria, Mark Anura, and he just couldn't, which is quite
Mark
funny.
Aneurysm. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's Aurora was the best one.
Oh,
It's the shortest word in the English language with all the vowels, and the Greek meaning is beautiful thought.
oh, beautiful thought.
But
So,
it's not my real name.
how long? How did you make that name? I mean, did you think it up?
I just saw it, I think, and I thought, wonder what that is. Looked at it, I thought, yeah, that's quite good. Quite
And
good.
that avatar. I mean, so you're an artsy type person, right? You like art.
Well, that was just one I saw that I liked, and I chose it to sort of wind up someone in particular, actually.
Oh yeah, to
Yeah.
get somebody's goat.
Well, yeah, it was because obviously it's an I. It's leaning towards the Illuminati stroke Freemasons thing
Right.
because I had a conversation with someone in Nadia's hangout about it, and I mentioned that I had
Oh,
relatives.
it was Von Helden, right?
I think it was someone else, and Von Helton as well. I don't think Von Helton's cottoned on yet.
Okay,
Um,
kooks like Von Helden, uh,
I well,
conspiracy. Please explain that.
well, we had one today when he was talking about the Illuminati and the Bilderberg and the idea that Bill Gates wants to cull the human population down to 500 million so that these people can have their utopia. It's just utter nonsense. He did similar to what Tommy Hall does. He provides a link where he's only read the headline that says, Bill Gates wants to murder
The
everyone.
header.
Yeah, Bill Gates wants to murder everyone. So that he hasn't actually read the article, which explained in detail that they were talking about third world countries where women are, or where families usually have 6 children because they know
Right.
only two of them are likely to survive to be able to work or look after them in their old
They
age.
completely miss context and just go with the header.
Yeah. So that's basically what Von and Tommy usually do, and then they say, "Oh, look, I've got this link," and then when you actually read it and read it back to them, it's completely opposite to what they're claiming, which is quite funny.
Just a quick interjection, Mark. Were you ever a believer, Christian?
Yeah, well, I used to be what I call a just in case believer
Oh, really?
when I was younger. Yeah, we had a Bible given to us at school and that sort of thing, and then as I got older, read the Bible properly and thought this is bullshit. And from that
Okay,
moment
so
on,
you were never
yeah,
like a fervent fundamentalist. You were just a Church of England type.
yeah, we'd go to funerals and christenings and that sort of thing, weddings. But I was for a long while. I thought, well, that it's not. There's no God and all that. But I thought, well,
Right.
just
It
in
was
case.
fantasy. You don't believe in any of the supernatural, right?
Oh no, but back then it was just in case. That it was pray now and again because you never know. But then I just thought, no, this is
Silly
stupid.
things like Freemasonry.
Well, yeah, that's sort of based loosely on some form of belief, but there's nothing much to that really. It's just an old boys club, really.
An old boys club.
Yeah, based on a bit of myth and a bit of ancient ritual and a bit of old stories and loosely based partly on the Bible or part of the Bible. But isn't my father and some other relatives are Freemasons, and
Oh,
I
I didn't know that.
and I am as well. But
Still.
well, once a Freemason, always a Freemason is supposed to go.
I
But
didn't know.
when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I asked my dad what it was about, and he said, "Well, the best thing to do is join. When you're old enough, you'll find out." So I did when I was, I don't know, early 20s, and
All right.
I went to the meetings for a few years, and then wasn't much to it, and thought, yeah, and then stopped going.
Okay, did it help in your knowledge of the Bible? Because I've always been impressed by how much you know of the Bible.
Not really. No, was Freemasonry didn't. Some of the old ancient stories it helped with, yeah, but it's the allegory and the metaphors and everything. That's what it's all about, really. Allegory is what Freemasonry is about, really.
Have you ever met any other? Well, I guess you could. You tell me if you met other Freemasons in the G Plus Great Debate community?
One or two that said they are. One clearly wasn't. One was.
Are there like code words, secret handshakes?
Yes, there are indeed.
Oh, I see.
Words, passwords,
Passwords.
handshakes, other signs. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
But you can find out all about it on the internet anyway.
Yeah, okay, the stuff that I can read on Wiki about Freemasonry is pretty accurate.
I would say so. Yeah, yeah.
All
It's
right.
not. It's not. It's not a secret society. It's a society with secrets, so they say. But
Okay,
it's
not a secret society, but a society with secrets.
yeah, yeah. Not,
Like
but nothing sinister. There's nothing
nothing
sinister.
sinister. It's the
No.
club.
And their main goal is charity.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
They
didn't know
give.
they're a charitable organization.
Oh Christ, yeah, billions. all over the
I've
world.
never heard like this hospital was built by the Freemasons. I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah, there are hospitals, hospices, all sorts. We give to various clubs, various charities. They normally choose it, or each lodge would choose its own charity for the year, and then any money they raise will go to that charity.
I
Um,
see.
but it's a massive charity.
Here in America, we have like stretches of highways, and they say, this highway is, being maintained by the Boy Scouts. So I guess, maybe stretch of highway maintained by Freemasons of Alabama or something.
Could be, but it's most they probably go into something a lot more beneficial. So it would be a hospital or a hospice or something like that, or
A little bit more
an
upper class.
yeah, orphans club, orphans not club, an orphans. Orphans wouldn't go to a club, to be safe. Yeah, orphans, a home or something like that.
All right. Well, I'm interested if you just ever met like a Freemason in like a Nadia hangout or something, in an exchange of words, it goes over everybody's head, but you've made contact with another Freemason.
Yes, there are a couple of things that are said in the course of
Does
conversation
the
that
sun rise in the, remember that movie, The Man Who Would Be King? It's like that, right?
something like that. The weather is particularly cold in Moscow this year. Something like
Man, I
something like
love
that.
it. Too bad.
Uh,
Is there an age limit to joining the Freemasons, or can anybody join?
no, you can join whenever you like.
All right.
Well, technically you're supposed to be invited.
Oh, okay. I had to be invited. Well, I'm glad I know you.
So you would perhaps meet someone through the course of your business or whatever, and sort of find out that they may be,
Okay, can
or
women be Freemasons?
there are female lodges, but it's not. It's usually, I think originally it's all men.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but there are women's lodges.
Like if I told you, Michael Ann was a Freemason, would that be a buzzkill?
I can't see that she would be a Freemason. I can't. No,
Oh, okay.
she's anti everything like that, isn't she?
Michael Ann and Nadia. Okay, first it's okay. Michael Ann and Nadia Mania. Um, this week.
I like Nadia. I don't think she's got. Yes, there are people that got their issues with her, and I understand those. But I think all in all, there are worse people around than Nadia. There's not really a bad bone in her body, and I wouldn't.
Okay.
I can't imagine what it must be like to be in her shoes.
Would,
And so
would I be surprised if I learned that Nadia was a Freemason?
she could be. I
Anyway,
think she
let
could
me
be.
tune in our listeners just quickly this week. This week has been enraptured with Nadia Mania. She's moving from her squalid her venue in Oakland all the way eastward towards Michigan to a new trailer where she's going to change her life. All what would you say? Event managed by Michael Ann and other fellow Nadians. It's great that a group of people can get together and do this for another person. Are you impressed, Mark? As I am, I am
Yeah.
so
I agree.
impressed.
I agree. I mean, I think was it earlier this year or last? No, it was last year. I think the community sort of got together to help Eve out. She needed a new car, and
Right,
everyone managed to raise $4,000 to
right.
get her a new car because she has an autistic son. So I think Michael Ann and I have crossed swords, but what she's done for Nadia, I think, is wonderful, and I think credit to her for that, and anyone else that's helped out. Despite
And the thing is, we can watch it play out in front of us. It's like, to me, it's better than TV.
Oh yeah, on G Plus and YouTube is much better than TV, I think.
Yesterday, I put down in the comment section that this was the best episode ever when she missed her flight in Salt Lake City. Just to let the viewers know, I think the flight cost what, $1,700, to get a
I've no idea about the cost. I know that I think it was one person paid for the flight, other people helped
right
get someone bought some luggage, I think, and some clothes and bits and bobs, and then someone else paid
comfy
for
pillows, Mountain Dew, pizza, the
yeah,
works,
and
Liberty Camera.
then and then I think someone paid. So they tried to get her a cab and couldn't get one at short notice, so she ended up. Someone paid for a limo, I think, to take her to
Right.
to a hotel a few blocks away, and then from there she went to the airport. From there, I
All
think,
right, just to clear the
unfortunately,
listeners in, she laid over in Salt Lake City, Utah,
yes,
and proceeded to go to the smoking, drinking section of the airport and start up a hangout. and missed the connecting flight, right?
Yeah, I think she had her headphones in. Plus, there was a time difference that she hadn't allowed for,
Right. She didn't realize that there was going to be a time difference.
so she went to the
Okay, so then,
gate and they said, "Oh, it's gone."
the scramble was, instigated at that point where we had to have another lady, drive more than an hour and a half to go pick her up and have her have lodging for the night. I mean,
Yes,
if that isn't good television, I don't know what. Okay.
and then
Do
she
you
didn't hang out from the plane
right?
earlier
I
today.
think I wouldn't put it past her trying to do that.
You know, I
Okay.
think it was about 20-minute hangout. She was actually Nadia hosting a hangout on the plane, which I thought was great. But
Oh my goodness. And I'm surprised people didn't, okay, people don't mind a hangout, by Nadia's, sitting next to her. I mean, could you see anybody else sitting next to her?
no, I think she just had a. From what I can gather, it was about 20 minutes. That was all.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and then it went off air. I'm not so sure whether the plane disappeared or whether um, she was told to turn it off. I don't know.
All right, look, Mark. I mean, this has trickling information's trickling in, but what do you think there's an end game to this? That Nadia is going to arrive at her place in Michigan and change her life? Yes or no?
Yes, I hope so. Yeah, I
You
think.
hope so, or so? Can you guarantee it for me?
Um, well, no, I can't guarantee it, but I think it's going to be for 3 or 4 months, isn't it? The new home. And I
Oh,
think someone's offered her a couple of jobs and she's taken one up. I'm not sure.
okay. Why couldn't she make it in the Bay
I,
Area? LGBT.
I think, well, I think, as Nadia said, she's got issues about the way she looks, about the way she feels, and that has affected. Depression's a strange thing. It affects people different ways, and who am I to, I just feel for her. I think I wouldn't want to be in her shoes, and I can't imagine what she's been through and what so if that has affected, some people say that she's taken advantage. Well, I maybe, but I don't. I think, yeah, I like Nadia, and I wish her all the best, and I hope she gets
You
where she
like
wants to
that?
be.
Okay, Mark, explain to me why people get so attached and so fond of Nadia. I mean, they meet her, and within 1 month, they're giving her stuff. How does
I
that?
think, I think we all, most of us have the within. We want to help someone that's less fortunate than us. Maybe most of us do. Um, and so there was a lot of that. Um,
You
and
meet her, and 1 month later, you're like sending her a check in the mail.
well, I think, despite everything, I mean, you can't give up. I
You
don't.
can't give up.
No, despite, yeah, everyone's got their own faults. I certainly have, and people will be keen to point them out, no doubt. But you can't give up on people. You wouldn't do it if it was your mother or a relative, and they were. I mean, I looked after my mother with help from um, authorities. My mother had mental health issues and physical issues, physical health problems, and sometimes my mother was very manipulative and was take a lot or would use situations to her. But I couldn't just say, "Well, look, you're not helping yourself, Mum," which she
Right.
didn't.
Now,
And she's
Mark, you had a personal stake because she was your mother. Why do
yes,
people
but other
react to
people
Nadia
that
and they have no personal stake in her?
well,
Go ahead.
my mother was in a rehabilitation unit for a while, meant for mental health, and the people there didn't. They had no personal
Right.
connect, and they didn't give up on her, despite sometimes she wouldn't want to help herself, wouldn't help them help her, but they didn't give up
Okay.
because what the alternative, was just I don't know, just let
What,
this.
what, what Nadia is going through is what the alternative is, right?
Yeah, my
Stuck in a
mother used to
room.
say, "I don't want to live anymore. I want to die. I hope I don't wake up." All these sorts of things that people with depression.
Okay, you mentioned the 800-pound gorilla in the room, mental health unit.
Hmm.
Okay, I mean, why not for Nadia?
I don't. I think Nadia. I don't think Nadia's mentally ill.
Okay. My friend Green Soul Sufi told me there's no such thing as mental sickness. There's mental disorder.
I don't know enough about it, but I mean, the doctors told me my mother had mental health problems. Started as depression, got worse and worse and worse. She had the onset of early dementia.
Right. Okay, so the doctors told you this diagnosis. She needs to go to a mental health unit. Why not Nadia the same?
I think Nadia was nowhere near.
That bad.
Yeah, the level that my mother was at. I would go there some days to visit
You
her, and
still
she
see
was.
Nadia as functional within society,
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so.
even though it seems that she has like no survivability, no survival instinct.
Maybe it's just a matter of getting a couple of breaks, whether someone
Okay,
else pays for it or not, or whether that might inspire her, or she
if
might.
I told you that's what the Nadians are banking on, that they can just change her life this way,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to you, or would you say, well, let's start looking at care?
No, I would think that the former certainly. Um, Nadia, for Nadia to know she's got people that want to help, and no matter what, they'll still be there. Someone that's important.
Should
Maybe.
somebody care for Nadia? Should she have a
Yes.
patron? Like
Yeah. Why
all
not?
this is solved if I become her husband and take care of her.
Well, I'm not so sure if she's going to look for a husband purely just to get a green card or whatever, or somewhere to live, or then that's I wouldn't
Right?
agree with
Or
that.
get the
Yeah.
money for the operations.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if it's up front, she met someone, and there was a mutual, the other,
I hit the lotto and I want to take care of Nadia. I want to be Mr. Nadia, be her patron. I
yeah,
mean,
fine. If
doesn't that
people,
doesn't that make sense that she needs a patron, somebody taking care of her rather than just, rolling the dice and hoping she gets better?
yeah, if someone's willing to do that, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, if it's eyes wide open and everyone knows what no one's conning anyone else or no one's taking advantage, then
Okay, 3 months from now, she's doing 24/7 hangouts. That's a good thing or not?
I don't know. Who am I to tell Nadia what she should and shouldn't do?
Well, I
She's
mean, just we're in the audience. We're sitting together in the audience, and do I want Nadia to change or do I want her to get better?
I want Nadia to, the same as anyone else, to be happy doing what they're doing.
Right.
If it suits Nadia to work from home and do telephone work or computer work, and she can still do her hangouts, and I
Like
know
if I
some.
was her patron, I would have her, still do her hangouts. I just pay her to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was someone, I think Sarah, her name was, that wanted to write a book about it, and there was some, and she was trying to get her company to sponsor Nadia, and there were other things afoot to, rather than try and take Nadia out of her situation as such completely. I think the idea was to, well, how about we do something with Nadia in the situation she's in? If she's going to stay at home, then perhaps a job or something.
Okay,
Um,
Mark, describe to me the anti-Nadian.
I think I think from an English point of view, for Nadia is probably a Marmite person. You either really like her or you just don't
Right.
like her at all. I don't think there's any middle.
There's the binary.
Yeah, and yeah, it is, and I understand why some people have got issues with her. Fine.
Okay, I float into a hangout and there's, the Nadians there, some Nadians, right? And I say, are you guys doing the right thing? And they get mad at me. Am I an anti-Nadian for just asking questions?
No, I don't think so. Um, I don't, I don't, I don't like it when it just makes me feel uncomfortable. There are some people that have been in her hangouts and want to go through her life and ask,
Right.
sort of pull her apart. Why are you doing that? This is not good, and why do you do that? That's
But
not.
Mark, she displays her life for us all to see.
Yeah, true, but then I just take her hangouts as a place to go to talk to other people
Right.
and what not to pull Nadia's life apart. But no one does it anywhere else, or any other hangout. I mean, there are
You
people
say
that have
something like,
regular.
"Hey, I saw a squirrel today outside my window eating a nut," and she quickly interjects, "Well, I don't have any nuts anymore," or something like that. You see what I mean? It's
Yeah, but then people probably know Nadia by now, and they know to.
to get
That's
used to it.
that's Nadia. The same as if you go into a Nate Cunningham hangout, he has his hangouts every week. Most people know what to expect, but they wouldn't start pulling Nate's life apart and saying, well, why
That's a
this
good
and why
point.
that, and they don't do it when they go into um, any other regular hangout. They go in and discuss the topics. So why is Nadia any different?
That's true. That's a good point. Okay, you bring up Nate Cunningham. Okay, a real fruitcake. Okay, describe to me the seriousness of the theist position in the great debate community. I mean, is there any validity to it? Nate Cunningham's, Nephilim Freeze, guys like Mac. I mean,
Bible literalists just make me laugh because most of it's demonstrably not the case if you take it that literally. I mean, there wasn't a worldwide flood. Human beings weren't made from Play-Doh and spare ribs.
so it's okay to take the Bible as allegory? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Or, I mean, they're all
Yeah.
nuts to me.
Well, yeah, I think well, I don't want to mention. Okay, about mentioning individuals. I mean, Nate for me just cherry picks and sugarcoats it all. It's just forget all that other stuff. It's just Jesus, just the hippie bit,
Right.
and that I find particularly.
People like Saint Tommy. I mean, hippie Christianity.
Yeah, it's just concentrate on the nice Jesus. Don't worry about all the bad stuff. That doesn't really matter. That's just.
Okay, you have a rep, Mark, as being a heavy duty atheist in our community. As far as like, and you're trying to tell me that you know some of these guys have a modicum of validity to any of their position. I mean, the hippie Jesus type. What they're coming from. It's just not to me. In my mind, it's all baloney.
Yeah, any of that rubbish is just. There are some serious people, I suppose. I mean, I think Veckel takes it all quite seriously.
Right, Veckel. Okay,
Yeah,
Veckel is about to go into a 15-minute diatribe about the Trinity, and the first cadence I scored in, I shoot me or you say there, hey, there's no God, buddy, so forget the whole thing. I mean, we're being implied, or I mean, we're just saying it as it is.
we're just saying it as it is. Yeah, I mean, the claim's been. I think Alex Botton mentioned it once that this idea. Well, you can't say there isn't a God because then you've got a burden of proof. Well,
I can't say that. Okay.
supposedly, but then I think Alex Botton mentioned it that well, the claim's been out there long enough and it's not been proven. So the burden of proof is still on the claim that's out there. So I can see the validity in saying, well,
People like Shamos and their philosophical word games.
yeah.
I mean, they got to be knocked out of the park, right?
If it, I mean, as far as I'm sure Shamos is a really nice bloke, and he's another one that's blocked to me because I insulted him once or twice. But yeah, it seems to me that unless he's obviously really big on the things he likes, like philosophy, and unless the conversation is philosophical in nature or to do with pure logic or something, then it's I just think the guy needs to get out more, really.
Like you've gotten like 20 flavors of Christianity in your time here. You know how to knock each one out of the park?
Oh no, I wouldn't say I'm that good anywhere near that, but I just tend to focus on.
Well, you're willing to take a hack at it. How's that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think the precept thing is dead, long dead. It's just nonsense because as soon as you ask, well, where did you get this revelation? The answer, of course, is the Bible. So we're back to the thing. The Bible's true because the Bible says it's true. God exists because God told me in His revelation that He exists, which is just circular rubbish. And
what I'm
the
going to
main,
say is that, you're sitting in the naughty hangout and the guy starts talking God, you're going to go ahead and take a good whack at it, right?
yeah, I don't. The ones that say, like Nate does, well, Jesus said. Well, how do we know what Jesus said? No one knows what the guy said. I mean, we haven't even got as far as knowing that he actually existed. And the ones that say God did, then it's sort of the usual questions: which God? Define God first before we, get onto anything else.
Christian hillbilly, going on his Christian hillbilly type stuff. You go ahead and take a whack at it, right?
Yeah, Christian hill bigot. He's just
homo. Yeah, hill bigot.
he's just yeah. I find it objectionable when he goes into Nadia's hangout. So he takes advantage of the fact Nadia's provided him a platform for him to then tell her that she's really a man and that and she's got a mental disorder and what she needs is
software,
a psychiatrist. Yeah, she needs a psychiatrist, not an operation. That I just find that quite vile.
But I mean, I think she kind of welcomes. She has a little partiality towards the theist end of things. The Brett Keens that we see in the hangouts, the Von Helt, so forth. But what I'm trying to get at is that I can count on you, being in the hangout that you're gonna, somebody starts God talking, you're gonna just take a good whack at it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Rancam, right?
No, Rancam I think is another G-man, is a character. I think you have to understand he says things he pushes buttons, same as G-man does.
I mean, Rancam wants to talk about how wonderful Jesus' belief is. You're gonna knock it down.
Oh yeah, but I mean more of a comical way. I don't think.
You're not okay. You're not gonna be like Rage, right? Science Rage against a
No,
guy,
not
or
not not with Rand. I think Rand, to a large extent, plays a character, and he pushes the buttons of certain people, and they push the buttons back, and um, yeah, that's what Rand's about. Same as G-Man to an extent. So I don't take. And then there's Raw, who's got his fire and brimstone thing going on.
end timer.
Yeah, he
Hell
did.
for
I
a
mean,
while.
Raw tries very hard, but you can tell he's just gagging to tell you that you're going to burn in hell. Sooner or later,
Right.
the conversation is going to get to that.
Okay. Look,
And
Mark. Do you ever go out of your way to go into them Christian hangouts, or you just
no, I tend to avoid Christian hangouts. I don't.
you're not an anti-theist,
Well, yeah, I am to a large extent. Certainly, yeah, I am. I think religion is a poison, and they all are.
right?
Um,
You
uh,
know, the nice, gentle Nate Cunningham, Jesus is
yeah,
love. You're not going to float
yeah,
in there and destroy the whole thing,
I
right?
have done
I would.
before. I've been into Nate's hangouts before, but I don't think. See, that's the clever bit about the quote unquote moderates is that they try to give this gentle hippie Jesus. Let's concentrate on the nicey stuff. But deep down, the beliefs are no different. Really,
The
they
idiocy's no different.
they still believe that. I mean, Nate believes that obviously there's this Jew that died and came back to life, and human sacrifice is the way to. Or that I'm born somehow a terrible human being, and he's got the cure for my malady. That somehow I've got to beg forgiveness for the mere fact I exist. I find
Right.
that
Well, the reason I bring it up, just for the sake of our listeners, is that, I'm pretty sure they can, withstand the Nate Cunninghams. But then we have people like Johnny Kiz. Have you heard of this individual?
I've seen a couple of his hangouts. Yeah, that guy I think is just one voice in his head away from a massacre.
All right.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think if
Go
he
ahead.
can, if he heard a voice that said, "Go and kill everyone in that office over there," and this is God talking, he'd probably do it.
All right. Why should we, like, as atheists, let's say anti-theists, tolerate that sort of malarkey? I mean, should we start looking to stamp it out, or just not
Yeah,
enable it, or
I think
what?
people like him, and I think Alex did it once with a guy called Scott Terry. Those people need to be dragged out into the light, and so everybody can see them. And that sort of attitude just should be stamped all over.
Okay. So, yeah,
Dangerous.
there are some theist positions that you would
Yeah, the
rather
people that I
not
mean, like
see.
in America at the moment, the advocacy of a theocracy.
Right? Well, they want to pass laws that discriminate against LGBT, for one.
Yeah, well, like Sarah Palin saying that the laws of the land should be replaced by the laws in the Bible. I mean, my good friend Wayne Hudson was advocating a book, and I shall repeat it, called Christian Nation.
Yes.
Definitely worth a read. Um, and there's another one by Sinclair Lewis, which is a much older book,
Yes.
and that's called "It Can't Happen Here," and that was written in the 20s or 30s, I think. That says, "Don't be fooled, America. It could happen."
Okay. Well, Mark, I'm just talking about our own little community here. Um, I mean, should we start knocking, starting getting involved? Should we be more, what would you say? They say that we're militant anti-theists, but are we militant anti-theists, or we're kind of lazy?
Well, I think it depends on the definition of militant. I mean, most people think that to be a sort of more of a violent thing. I don't think so. I think we can just be a bit more forcefully vocal about it, and I think then the Charlie Hebdo thing for me was the fact that there could be. I tried to explain it that if you've got, say, I don't know, 100, excuse me,
Go ahead.
100 people in a mosque, say, or a church, and out of those 100, there are 75 that believe blasphemy is a thing, and out of those 75, there are 40 that think that blasphemy should be punished in some way.
Right.
And from those 40, you've got 20 that think that that punishment should be some sort of violent punishment.
Capital, right? You know,
Not
close to
necessarily capital, just a
right.
violent punishment. And out of those 25 believe that it should be death.
Yeah,
And,
capital.
and those 5 people are willing to go and carry that out. And so you've got 5 people out of 100, but the main belief out of those 100 that blasphemy is a thing is what underpins what the 5 may go and do. You know, they're thinking, well, everyone else thinks blasphemy is a thing. I just happen to think of it more forcefully, and I'm going to go and kill someone that draws pictures of Muhammad or upsets the Pope. And I think it's that, whether they accept it or not, I think the so-called moderates are underpinning the extreme end, because they all believe in the same thing. The base beliefs are the same.
Or should we be more
beliefs.
moderate?
I just think religion as a thing is just a poisonous thing for all of us. We could have done so much better. The money, the waste, the telling children that they're going to go to hell. The Catholic Church, and that's the most corrupt, vile organisation on the planet. You know, you got the Pope sat in a golden, jewel-encrusted chair, preaching to people about doing something for the poor.
You know, people say that, you know, Mark isn't polite enough to theists. They just totally missed the point, right?
Probably. I mean, I don't really. I've got no ill will. I don't wish harm on people, but I'm just.
Right.
I'm
but
not
the position.
I'm not that tolerant as I probably should be of bullshit. And I'm probably guilty of it myself. I've certainly, you know, I've said things I shouldn't have done, or well, I'm not perfect by any means, but the religious stuff just.
You're willing to look at it even-handedly, your positions.
No, I'm quite vociferous in religion's just a poison, all of it,
Right.
And they don't. I don't think, in my opinion, they've done humanity much good.
True.
I think it was said once by probably Hitchens or Stephen Fry in a debate about the Catholic Church, and I think Hitchens said the Catholic Church has done good things, but overall the Catholic Church is not a force for good in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got people saying that condoms are not good, or not a good thing, or that.
Yeah, Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa, don't get me started on Mother Teresa.
Right. Well, okay.
Well, funny enough, you mentioned Hitchens. I was born in the same Royal Naval Maternity Hospital as Christopher.
Oh, seriously? Oh, that's great.
There the comparison ends.
No, I think there is a lot of comparison. Okay, Mark, pick your poison. What's your favorite preferred whiskey?
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. Why?
Yeah, I just like it's not as harsh as some whiskies. I'm not really a whiskey connoisseur, but I do like Jack Daniels. I just like the taste. And
I thought all Englishmen were supposed to be, you know, whiskey. Well, Scotsmen maybe.
Scots and Irish, yeah. I suppose the quintessential, stereotypical Englishman would be gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic, yes.
Yes, probably, yeah.
And now we can even call that whiskey. All right.
And a cup of tea.
What is proper? Explain to me proper social drinking from the Englishman's point of view.
Well, we've got a bit
of all us lushes here in.
We've got a bit of a skewed idea about drinking because we used to have our old licensing laws. Used to be the pubs used to open about 7 p.m. and they closed at 10:30, and then so you had to get as drunk as you could as quick as 4 hours, and then of course you had, you know, all the pubs and all the pubs rather, bars kicked everyone out at 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:15. So you had thousands of pissed Englishmen wandering the streets, causing. That used to be you'd go out and have a drink. Hopefully you'd find a woman, but if then you can have a kebab and a fight, and that'd be a good night.
And you come back and drink, do this the next day. All right, which is more the staple? Is it beer? They call it bitters, right? Or is it?
Well, yeah, bitter is, as again my friend Wayne would say, warm beer is when he's a northern monkey. So, but yeah, it's not the cold lager stuff. But yeah, warm beer that's the stereotype.
Warm beer.
That's the stereotype of an Englishman.
And they put an egg in it too, right?
I don't know about the egg. I don't think some do. I don't know what that's about. I mean, rugby players do, and a bag of peanuts.
All right. The first time I go to England, I want to get wasted, and I walk up to the bar. What do I ask for?
Ooh.
Now, I don't go to an Irish pub and ask for a black and tan, right?
I just I like Guinness. Guinness, you can ask for a Guinness or a lager top, which is just a pint of lager with an inch of lemonade
A
at the
lava
top.
top.
Just to give
All
it
right.
a lager top.
Lager top.
Yeah, so just a lager with an inch of lemonade, just a bit of a tang. Um, Shots, I mean, yeah, but I'm getting old. I don't know. I haven't been out for a while. Shots seem to be the big thing as well at the moment.
Well, we have
Yeah,
Jägermeister here, and
yeah,
of course we have tequila. You ever drank tequila?
yeah. I like tequila. I had a bottle of tequila once that had one of those worms in it.
Yeah, the mezcal.
Only agave worm or something, I think it was called. And only because somebody told me that if you ate the worm,
Good luck.
it was like you get trippy on it, or it was like taking LSD,
Oh yeah, yeah, like that too, I guess, but also it's good
supposedly.
luck.
So I just tried to drink the bottle as quick as I could just to get to the worm,
Damn,
and it was disgusting. And I didn't,
hallucinating on
yeah,
that shit.
I didn't hallucinate at all. I was really disappointed. Just felt sick.
All right, Jack Daniels, like a fifth or what, a liter or half liter, what?
Oh, a litre, yeah. A litre will last me about a week.
Oh wow, that's pretty good drinking, Mark.
Yeah, well, see, I'm an old, I'm 52 now, and
Okay,
say a single parent. I don't get out much, sadly. I should, but yeah, don't get much chance to. So yeah, my social evening usually is watching some YouTube videos or hangouts and quietly getting half cut.
getting knocked or dry. Okay, yeah, what about bourbon? Because see, that's what I gave up. I had to tell her I gave up drinking in January because I had that hangout with Jennifer Borden, and it was like impressed upon me that maybe I should kick the sauce for a bit. So I haven't had a drink since January.
Ooh.
But what I did drink is I drink a lot of Jim Beam. You like bourbon?
Yeah, I like Jim Beam. Yeah, I once drank a bottle of Jim Beam, well, a massive bottle of Jim Beam with my father. We went to Canada skiing, and we had a day on the slopes like you do, and we had a hotel or apartments overlooking just the bottom of the slope, and so we spent an afternoon drinking a huge bottle of Jim Beam, watching people fall over and make tits of themselves, and we just spent the afternoon laughing and one of those father-son bonding things. It was just really good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so like Beefeater, gin, it doesn't strike your fancy. I mean,
No,
that's
I'm not a real big vodka and tonic. I don't mind. But yeah, Jack Daniels mainly because for some reason, I can drink a bit more of it without getting drunk. I tend to stick to that. Whereas vodka and tonic, red wine
oh,
occasionally, but that gives me a headache.
oh my. And you don't chase it, right? You drink it straight.
Sometimes straight, sometimes with some Coke.
Oh,
Yeah,
you don't think that's a little hard on the tummy?
Jack Daniels, a couple of lines of Coke is fine. Well, no, I mean Coca-Cola, obviously. Um, those days are gone.
Okay, well, Mark, this has been a great. Can I ask you to hold on while I open up the room to participants for a
Yeah,
second?
certainly. Thank you very much.
All right, let's take.
Very
Oh,
kind.
I'd like to thank you, Mark, for this wonderful interview, and take a quick break here for a second.
Okay.
Welcome. Hello, Brojo.
All right, there I go. What's up, Bronto?
What's up, Bunto? Yeah, I know. I love it.
Bronto.
So how you doing today, Brojo?
I'm doing well. And what's up, Mark?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Okay.
What brings this hangout about? What's the topic?
Well, this is Mark's interview. Well, I just got a message from Michael Ann. I think I can read this without anything, being wrong. And I'm in the doghouse with Michael Ann. I'm trying to crawl out. I wonder if this will help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Michael Ann sent me a message saying, I paid for the hotel, airfare, and the car service, not limo. No, I didn't spend $1,700. You might want to get your info correct. Karen drove 35 minutes, not 1.5 hours, to the airport to get her. The reason she missed the connecting flight is she forgot to correct for the time change.
Yeah,
So
which is what I said. Yeah, she missed it.
I thought it was a hangout, that she was holding a hangout and she missed
No,
it.
well, she was in a hangout, but I think that the issue, the reason she missed the flight wasn't because she was in a hangout. It was because there was she didn't take the time difference into account. So she was an hour. It was an hour later than she thought it was.
So I'd like to thank you, Michael, for correcting my information.
Yeah.
If you would have stayed in the hangout, Michael, maybe I could have gotten the corrective right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd heard it was a limo, but obviously I don't know. That's just gossip, idle gossip probably. But so what if it was? And that perhaps Nadia deserved a bit of style.
Truly. Okay, and Michael, we invite you to come into the hangout and please just give us an update. Well, I'll say without interruption of what Nadia's status is at the moment. It'd be wonderful to hear. Okay, what do you guys think? Nadia Mania, isn't it incredible? Brojo? Keefies? Welcome to the show.
What about? Hey, what's up?
Okay, what do you think of Nadia Mania? Exciting?
Not to me.
Not to you. Why not?
I just think it's a bunch of unnecessary. I don't know. I think people are just kind of. It's just kind of the whole internet icon phenomena. It's no different than following some famous YouTuber or something that happens to have a gimmick.
It's gimmicky.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't agree. I think it was Nadia's genuinely needed help, and luckily there were people that weren't willing to give up and helped her, and those people deserve credit. Yes, Michael Ann and I have crossed swords, and I don't bear her any ill will, but I think what Michael Ann's done is brilliant. Sorry?
You haven't blocked her, right? You can get in here, right?
I haven't blocked Michael Ann, no.
Okay. I'm confused about something. If somebody blocks you, can they get into a hangout that you're in? Like, if she blocked you, she can still get in here, right?
No.
No? Oh, okay,
Michael. She'd have to unblock me to get in.
Oh. I mean, this blocking...
That's why it works both ways, yeah. If you block someone, they can't get into a hangout that you're in, but equally, you can't get into a hangout that they're in.
Oh. I don't like blocking. I'll just say for the record. I'm sure it's useful to, like, if somebody's trolling you or really attacking you, maybe it's good to block them, but on the whole, it's a nuisance.
Yeah, I've got a few blocked that don't come into Hangouts. But so, yeah, to my knowledge, I've got nobody blocked that I would normally be in a Hangout with or want to go in a Hangout with.
Have you ever tried to reach out to Michael Ann, say, hey, let's smoke the peace pipe, and start.
Perhaps not until now, no. But yeah, I don't bear her any ill will. We might disagree on views about certain couple of subjects, but I don't bear her any ill will. I say again, what she and others, mainly Michael Ann, have done for Nadia, I think is credit where
quite
it's due.
Admirable.
Well, very.
Okay, but Keefies, to you, it sounds like it's okay. Are you jealous, Keefies, of what's going on? I am.
No, I'm not jealous. I just think it just doesn't interest me, man. I mean, when I came to the whole great debate community, I'm more interested in, the debates
discussion.
Exactly, not any of this Nadia stuff. Like, it's just not my thing. I understand she needs help and everything, but it just honestly doesn't interest me, man.
Well, what do you think, Mark? Does Keefies have a point?
Am
I like pushing Nadia too much?
No, I think if there's something you like, you're asking people's opinions. People are going to have differing opinions. I don't see anything about Nadia as a person to dislike. There are obviously people that dislike certain things that she does, and that's fine. That's their obviously not I say right. I don't like the word right. They can have their opinion. That's fine. But I don't. There are a lot worse people to hate on or dislike than Nadia. That's for sure.
There's just
Okay.
certain things in this community that just don't spark my interest. Just like how there's gonna be certain things that aren't gonna spark your interest either.
Right. This is like a television show you just can't watch, right, Keefies?
Yeah, it doesn't interest me at all. I don't get what all the hype's about, kind of thing. If this was a television
Right.
show.
You just don't get it. Hey, Patrick. Okay, Mark, if you met Nadia in real life, would you be starstruck?
No, I don't think so. I don't starstruck. I'd buy her a beer and have a chat. It'd be nice.
You buy her a beer. I mean, okay, what do you think Nadia looks like in real life?
Same as she does on camera.
Tall?
Yeah, I'd say tall. Yeah.
Long hair.
Yeah. Quite striking. The way she dresses, I suppose. The
The
black
green
hat.
shirt, the hat, right?
Yeah, I think she could be quite stylish in a way. You know.
Patrick, how you doing? You know Patrick, right, Mark?
Yes. Hi, Patrick. How are you?
I don't know. Maybe we are having some audio difficulties because I think Broja said he got no audio either.
I'm sorry. My fault.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing?
All right. I'm doing all right. I saw the invite. The name of this hangout was something weird. Thought I.
Well, yeah, it was called Bunto Silent Dogfight, number 12, Mark Eunoia, the interview.
Patrick was number 11, wasn't he?
No, I think it was number 12. I hope it was 12.
No, Patrick was number 11.
Patrick was number 11. That was a fantastic interview, Patrick.
Yeah, I actually was pleasantly surprised at that interview that you did with me.
I'm glad I could satisfy you, Patrick.
I was just honoured that
On that level.
you would
Well, I
think
don't know
I
about
was
that.
worthy.
I don't know if you could actually satisfy. No, I'm just kidding.
It was just nice to be invited and someone thinks that I had something worth listening to rather than just blocking me.
Right, well, you know. Okay, look, Mark, can you just tell all the listeners right now that you want to smoke the peace pipe and get unblocked?
Yeah, I've got no axe to grind with Michael Ann at all. I don't wish her any ill will. We disagree on a couple of things. We've had our disagreements. It's not something I'm going to rake over and over again. No
You know, you stretch out the peace, the peace pipe, peace olive branch, take it, please, Michael Ann. Patrick, you block people, right?
only the
Patrick
definite
clone.
trolls that were doing things that I know are not cool to do. I don't block people because I just don't like them. Because there's plenty of people I don't like that I don't block.
Okay, you consider yourself an anti-theist, right, Patrick?
Yeah, I think that might be fair.
Like, if the Christians are having a hangout, you want to go in there and just wreck the whole thing.
Not exactly.
Why not?
You're asking kind of slightly loaded questions. I'm an anti-theist in the sense that it's not necessarily all theists. I just want to go in and bash. I just want to go in and bash all the creationists.
A certain type of theist.
Yeah. It's like the several thousand-year-old Earth theists who think that those sort of people.
But I wouldn't go in deliberately to trash.
I'm sorry?
I wouldn't go in a hangout to deliberately trash it. You just go in and wait until someone brings something up that you can challenge.
Yeah, the buttons get pushed, and my peace dam breaks, and I start, spouting.
Does that happen to you, Mark? Your buttons get pushed?
Not really. No, normally I wouldn't go to a hangout straight away and just go, yeah, fucking. I would just,
No God.
Wait, yeah, God or no God. In the beginning, that's a fucking terrible argument. That is so bad.
Okay, Roy Montero, he's like starting to make a move up, right? He's on an upward trajectory, or is this Roy Montero?
Well, he's Nate's producer, isn't he? He's going to make Nate famous, and so Nate got to chat to Richard Carrier, and I'm sorry, Nate, but he was so underprepared. Someone of Richard Carrier's notability, he just got absolutely crushed.
Oh man, and Richard Carrier. Well, that's a damn good get,
Yeah.
Carrier.
I mean, you'd think you'd do a bit of research first on the guy and what his thoughts are. And Nate was just woefully short, in my opinion, of a lot of knowledge that you would expect him to have on the Bible. But there you go. But
Okay, do you hate that, Mark, when the theist is a big talker, but he just absolutely has no substance to the position? You know the Bible, right?
I've read it a few times. Yeah, I tend to and refer back to it and things that I remember. Like I'm not fantastic at it, but yeah, it's basic stuff sometimes. I mean, I think Richard Carrier mentioned the problem in Luke and the Gospel of Luke relating to the census.
Right, census of Quirinius.
Yeah, and I didn't really know what he was talking about.
Didn't even know what the hell I was talking
When
about.
Richard Carrier mentioned it, that to me is a basic problem. I mean, there is, it didn't happen.
Okay, put yourself in somebody like Patrick's shoes. I mean, Patrick, you're not like a Bible aficionado at all, right? I mean,
no, basically, when they start spouting the things that you just mentioned, I'm like, I don't give a fuck what it says in your damn Bible. I just don't give a fuck.
Right.
The damn book is an anthology of writers from hundreds of years of time. Inclusive, and it's like it doesn't matter. People wrote this book. The hand of God did not come down and fucking write the same thing in lightning bolts.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a button pusher for me, actually. When you mentioned buttons, there probably is a couple. One is Jesus said, and the other one is what the Bible says in the Bible. You think, why would I
prove the science? Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Why would I give a shit what your book says? Really, why would I care?
Exactly.
And how do you know what Jesus said? You don't. Jesus said we should love our neighbor. How do you know? He might have said fuck them. For we know.
And even that to me is like, there's the argument of was he a real person? Was he this and was he that? And I'm like, I don't really give a fuck. As far as I'm concerned, fine. He was a real person. He was some fucking desert rat that walked around trying to tell people what to do. That's fine, okay? That's fine. He was a real person. Do I give a fuck? I don't care. Whether he was real or not, So
I think
he might have been a real person, but he certainly sure as hell wasn't any kind of deity because no deities actually exist.
I'm a big Hitchens fan, and like Hitchens said, okay, you could grant the virgin birth, you can grant the miracles, you can grant the crucifixion, but none of that proves that Jesus was the son of any god.
I won't even grant that. I won't even grant the virgin birth.
No, I think Hitchens goes as far as say, okay, I'll grant you all that, but you've still got a hell of a lot of work ahead of you, I think is what he said, to prove that that man, given all those things, was a son of any god or divine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. The whole I keep telling people about the anthropological aspect of looking at the Bible and any religious text, and trying to figure out what these people thought, how they lived, the stories they told. This is all very interesting anthropological sense of how things are or were.
It's man-made.
People, but it has nothing to do with the reality. Is that there really was never any God, and it is a book of stories. To study
and as we mentioned, as Bunto mentioned earlier about Mac, when you got someone like Mac that says to you, the very first boat in the history of the universe was the Ark. What?
I forgot about that one.
And then he said that God said to Noah, build a boat. You'd think Noah would have said, what the fuck's a boat? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, look, let me ask you guys something. Okay, should we team up and just start crashing into Christian hangouts and destroying them?
You wouldn't last long. You'd get kicked out pretty quick.
Oh, really? Okay.
You really don't need to do anything, dude. I mean, if an idea is bad, everyone will know it. The idea itself religion itself will make itself go away.
That's it. That's it, right? I mean, basically, it's what I've been trying to do for a couple of years now, and now that I'm starting to do it on Google Plus, I'm trying to promote the reality thinking, trying to have the science hangout, which I'm still not sure is going to actually take place. But the idea is to talk about reality, to talk about science, even if we don't know exactly what we're talking about, to sort of learn and forget about any whatsoever. Any religious talk whatsoever needs to be out of the conversation.
What about
That's
when
what
one of the this, whether it's conspiracy theory or whatever, that the people that believe that sooner or later we're gonna meet up with an alien extraterrestrial species that's going to visit us or whatever. What effect is that going to have on religion? Does it blow it out the water?
I don't know, because I can't fathom what these people think anymore, because they're so fucking knocked out.
No. They'll find some place in the Bible that somehow ambiguously talks about that there could be possible life in the universe, and that God didn't just create us special or whatever. You'll see. I mean, if they find life in the oceans on Europa or whatever, they'll find something they'll scour the Bible looking for some way to explain it.
Yeah. It'll be part of God made the heavens, and it.
Oh, I know. I don't believe I never saw this before. I must have been ignorant or something. I never saw this whole passage. This explains it all.
Yeah. It'll just recently be discovered. Like, there hasn't been people, covering every single word of the Bible forever, but all of a sudden now they will find that was all of God's plan to make, life all over the universe, not just here. And we're not so special anymore.
Yeah, well, they never heard of the saying hindsight is 20/20.
I think that the excuse will be that they're actually, the word angels actually means extraterrestrials. That's the way they'll get around it.
Probably, yeah. Because they're
I don't even like to entertain those ideas, though. I don't even like to entertain what they might think is angels. It's like, just this is not my hang-up. But if this was my hang-up, I'd be like, okay, you're gone. Well, let's talk about science. That's the attitude I've been trying to take for a couple of years. But I
just looked it up, funnily enough, and there is one already that says the Bible does not speak of aliens who live on other planets, but it does speak of a spirit being who inhabits eternity in Isaiah 57.
Wow. Okay, mysticism.
So that's the way they'll get around it by saying a spirit would be what in those days we would call extraterrestrials now or something, or angels or Nephilim or some other such bollocks.
Okay, just to interject real quick. When we confront the theist, we have to have strong refutations, right? Or just, if I'm just in there saying there's no God, there's no God, there's no God, you're going to say, hey, Bunto, why don't you, get a better argument?
I hang up on them. I don't even give them the dignity of
you don't even say
there's
no God. You just click on them.
I'm like, yeah, that's nice. You go ahead and believe what you want. I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, because those guys, I'm a member of Rand's new community, Randism on the Road, and those guys are like trying to team up so they can refute the poor atheist arguments. Did you know that? They're like training themselves, boot camp. Right. They are. Go look, Rand on the
Atheist boot camp, dude?
They want to train themselves to refute the poor atheist arguments.
Yeah, well, they're not going to get a chance to because I'll just hang up on them. That's
Does
funny.
This tie into the get off the battlefield and Rand's going to war sort of thing?
Yeah.
Is that?
The lyric says the Pat-Man science guy in full effect.
The good thing about our side is that we don't need to prove anything. I mean, the default position is disbelief. We have the advantage of where we could just sit back and we don't have to prove shit. All the burden of proof is completely on them. We don't have to prove that there's no Bigfoot. We just have to say, I just don't believe. You show me that there is, and I'll believe it. But other than that,
Well, I think that was what I was saying earlier about. I think that was the point Alex Bottom was making a while back. Is that we shouldn't be afraid of as atheists, and I'm not that keen on that label either. But we shouldn't be afraid as non-believers to say there is no God, just because we're afraid of the theist then saying, well, you've now made a claim, you've got a burden of proof. I mean, the claim's already out there. And there's no evidence up to now.
They try to suck you into the conversation. And they usually succeed in sucking a lot of us into the conversation. So therefore, I take the attitude, yeah, whatever, fuck you, I'll see you later, goodbye, click.
There are many ways.
I thought I was militant.
You're absolutely right, Mark. I used to have that position where I would never make that claim that there is no God because then I would have to back it up. But now I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. There's no God, and you know what? Fuck you. I don't have to prove that there's no God.
That's right. That's what I've been doing.
Well, I'd say the burden of proof most. I mean, some say the likes of Ozzy would still say that you do then carry a burden, but the claim by theists has already been out there. It's already out there, and for me, there's never been any convincing evidence up to now. So I'm quite happy in saying, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've seen and what I know and what I've heard, I'm quite happy in saying, well, I don't believe that. There's no God. There just isn't.
Yeah, Bunto, you don't realize there's like 2,000 years of prior history trying to prove this shit, dude.
Right.
So it's not like we just woke up one day and, oh, it's not true.
Yeah, it's not like the claim was made last year.
No one's proved it.
You all know me. This is what I've been doing. These little memes of mine. There are no gods, written in galactic font.
Very good.
I'm never afraid to say it. I don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck. You know?
I saw something the other day, but what I was watching, I can't remember that I thought was quite profound. Where I can't remember who was saying that the universe has never made one of anything. If you like, so call the universe made it, whatever, nature, I don't know. There's not just one galaxy, there's not just one planet, there's not just one sun. So why do we think there's only one universe?
Yeah, no,
I was thinking more like one God for some reason.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so from what we see, there's not just one of anything in the universe. So why it makes sense? It seems logical to say there's probably more than one universe.
All right. Let me think. Okay, guys. You said, so we go in there with sort of like a neutral. You see, how does that work? How does that work, Absolute? I mean, you go in there and you would say there's no God, or you can't even say that. Or you just say you prove to me there's a God. I mean, how do I mess up their hangouts?
It sort of reverses it, doesn't it? Because
I always say, like, there's no God, and they say, how can you prove that? I say science proves that, and then we go around the cherry tree. People hate that.
You could say to a theist, prove God exists, and they'll say, well, prove he doesn't. So what's the difference in starting off
from our
side and saying there is no God, and when they say prove it, you say, well, prove there is.
And the whole argument that I got sucked into one time was like, you can't prove a negative, and then the philosophical word salad creator, Seth, and the other guys were like, yes, you can prove a negative, and they come up with this other freaking analogy that had nothing to do with what I was saying, and the whole thing turns, in other words, that's it, I'm done.
So yeah,
I'm
you
not
hang
doing
up
this anymore. Now, if you're talking about going into their hangout and trolling them, I don't know how you're going to handle that, but if they come into the hangouts that we're having, they're gone. Especially if it's my hangout, they're gone. They're muted. They're done.
Just equate it. Just equate it to fairies and unicorns and Bigfoot. We don't.
Yeah, I do it all the time. Same thing with the theory of evolution. It's only a theory.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that fairies don't exist. We don't have to prove it. That's just a known fact. If you want to say that fairies do exist, well, then you're going to have to prove it. But I don't have to come up with scientific or philosophical argument why fairies don't exist.
Yeah. I'm not an a-fairyist. I'm not an a-Santaist, and I'm not an a Loch Ness monsterist.
Any Loch Ness monster?
Are you an a-fairyist?
No.
No, but see, the same thing with not the same thing, but a slightly more in-depth thing happens when they start doing this. It's only a theory, and that's one of my buttons. It's like
Oh, I will lose my.
I will
lose my fucking mind when I hear that's just a theory.
Right. I use the gravity is a fact. There's also a theory of gravity, and evolution is a fact. There is a theory of evolution, and that is gravity. And the theory of gravity is how we best explain it. And evolution being the fact, and the theory of evolution is how we best, to this day, explain it, and it's always changing, it's always, things are adding to it. The point is that there is both, and there's no such thing as, quote, only, unquote, a theory.
Right. Mark, you said something a quick interjection, Mark. You said you're not comfortable being called an atheist?
I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm comfortable with that label because I just prefer. I'm just a non-believer.
I'm the same way, Mark.
Because I'm sick of this. Well, are you a weak atheist or a strong atheist or an agnostic atheist or you just want people want to stick you in a box and like I said, I'm not an atheist. I'm not.
Yeah, the thing about that is
I just don't believe. I'm a non-believer.
The whole are you a strong atheist? This is that word salad that they injected.
Right.
And then they even got Richard Dawkins to chime in and start coming up with this scale from 1 to 7. You know what I say to these people? You know what? On a scale from 1 to 7, I'm an 8. Fuck you.
You're a hardcore anti-theist.
I'm just tired of the fucking bullshit. I'm tired of the philosophical word soup.
There is a good website for you, Patrick. It's called notjustthetheory.com. Mm-hmm. It looks like the site's down at the moment, but that explains things very well. That the theory of evolution explains the fact of evolution, and that in scientific terms, a theory is about the highest you can get.
The thing is, labels like atheist just open the door for straw manning. You know, I mean, there's no perfect definition of straw man than to say, well, you're an atheist, so you believe this, and this, and let me tell you how you're wrong. I mean, that's the very definition of straw man. You allow yourself to be labeled as something specific, and then they can just bring up all these generalizations to try to destroy you with. It's like I mean, it's just the basic definition of straw man is when you label somebody an atheist or a Christian.
The worldview. I'm not keen on that. Oh, you've got an atheistic worldview. No, I don't. Atheism is just an answer to a question. Does God exist? No, I don't think so. No, I don't believe so. No. That doesn't. The rest of it. I don't have a worldview governed by my atheism. I mean, this idea that all atheists are obviously all pro-abortion or all pro this or not, I know atheists that are homophobic. I know atheists that believe that the world or the universe was or the Earth was seeded by extraterrestrials, but they're still atheists.
I'm a conservative atheist. Everybody, whenever you think of an atheist, you always think of some liberal hippie tree hugger, but that doesn't match.
Fuck the trees.
Right, burn out the forest.
Yeah.
You go ahead and fuck the trees. That's a little rough for me.
That's just something I do every second Wednesday.
Okay, look, Mark, when you're in a hangout, theists don't like to come in, right? They're kind of scared of you.
No one's scared of me. I'm a nobody. I'm not a.
No,
Mark,
people know.
Oh no, Mark is here. Run!
I don't think so.
That's what everybody says. Mark's a cunt.
If the general consensus is I'm one of the most blocked people on G+, I suppose that's some sort of badge. But I wasn't aware of that. But I must be really.
You're the guy who's willing to go toe to toe with the likes of Tommy Hall and Christian Hillbilly, Rancam.
I thought you were going to make some greats there, dude.
I wouldn't go toe-to-toe with Rand's not really a target. Tommy Hall, that bloke is just... I don't know whether he's trolling. I can't decide whether he's trolling or whether he just says shit things just to be a shit person. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I might have blocked him. I might not have, but I think I finally decided that I should really block him because I discovered a few days ago that he really is a scumbucket of the earth. And
I
just block scumbuckets.
People like him should be dragged into the light and just pointed at and laughed.
No, but he said something.
Same with Christian Hillbigger. He's just.
Christian Hillbilly, I blocked finally because I think.
But these are like my friends, guys.
Yeah, well.
Christian Hillbilly is just a.
He's a cunt.
Most of the time when I say that when I say someone doesn't accept evolution, it's because they don't understand enough about it, and that's typically true. But Tommy Hall actually understands evolution.
Yeah.
He's very intelligent when it comes to the subject of evolution. Yet he refuses to accept it.
Well,
he does actually. He's been in. If you know Shanna, the deist, Shanna Rocky. Going back months or last year, he was in a few hangouts with her where Tommy actually admitted that he accepts evolution as a fact. He just has a problem with the theories the mechanism. So this idea that he doesn't accept evolution is garbage, because he does. He just likes to try and.
Well, he said something. He said something in a hangout the other day that totally blew my mind. You know, as far as the concept that I had of who this Tommy Hall is. I thought he was kind of a stupid jerk, but I never would want to have blocked him. But he said something that totally made me think that this guy is really a fucking scumbucket of the earth. We were talking about education, and sex education came up, and the first thing that came out of this fucking jerk-off's mouth was something about teaching kids how to, about anal sex and blowjobs. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Wow, seriously. Where was this?
It was I don't even remember whose hangout it was.
Soccer's hangout, I think.
Wow, we.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Is that what you think? Is that what he actually thinks sex education is about? Are you fucking kidding me?
He thinks that sex ed means that you've got to teach 3-5-year-olds the mechanics and all the ins and outs of various things.
Right.
He didn't understand or didn't want to understand that sex ed for children is a graded thing. This
is something he did not understand. I can't believe that a grown man would say something like this. And I was going on about something about I was saying, for an example, I was trying to give Tommy Hall an example of there are some young girls, for example, as young as 8 and 9 years old who have their first period. They need guidance. They need somebody to tell her what the hell this is about, because this is new to her. And he came out with that phrase, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
And Tommy must have realised that that teaching his kids teabagging and BDSM at the age of 6 was probably a mistake.
Yeah, maybe that's what.
Doing it wrong all this time.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of thinking, this happened just lately, right?
Yeah, it was like within the last week.
Because he told me in the interview that he wasn't going to do that no more. I guess he decided to go back. Anyway, I met this guy. His name is MG42 Pillbox. What do you guys think? Interesting character.
Sounds familiar.
He's a gentleman.
He is
anti-evolution.
You just met him?
My God.
No,
Pillbox is completely insane.
I'd had an off-air hangout with him last year, and we had talked about everything else but evolution. A really nice chat about family and whatever, because I think I'd lost my mother at a similar time, close to when he'd lost his father. And then someone else came in the room, and the word evolution was mentioned, and he just went off like a bomb.
Right.
And it killed everything, and so I don't know whether he just likes to wind people up. I don't know. But
I just asked if he was a World War II buff.
Doesn't do himself any favors.
Okay, and then Thick Shades. Also, conversed to him at length today. What do you guys think?
Nothing but a troll.
Oh, you think he's a troll?
Oh my God, yeah. This guy lives to stir up drama. That's all he's about. Is just stirring the pot.
He seems nice enough.
Well, granted, anybody can be a nice person, but when they want attention, if they want to create a buzz about something or get people talking about you, you act like Thick Shades and you just troll the crap out of people. I mean, he takes it to a whole new level.
He was having a hangout where Sabella Shepard was afforded the opportunity to vent about, I guess, some event in her life. It seemed, what would you say, innocuous enough, right? You guys know Sabella?
No, I've not spoken to Sabella, no.
Bruce Shepard's wife.
I noticed Michael Ann has mentioned in the comments that, for the record, she says she doesn't practice alternative medicine. To me, it's called orthomolecular medicine. Well, I thought that was an alternative, but I stand corrected. I wasn't slandering you, Michael Ann.
I asked Michael Ann to come in, but she's demurred.
You can't reply. She's disabled replies, which is fine. I'm not meaning to slander her at all. I just don't agree. That's all. We disagree. That's fine. But, nothing personal.
Is anybody else in here blocked by Michael Ann? Or just you, Mark?
Just me, I expect. And again, all credit to Michael Ann. What she's done for Nadia is fantastic.
Yes, I think I'm very impressed.
Yeah, very. So am I. Very.
I don't think I'm blocked by her.
Sounds like you have a rare gift there, Mark.
What, for upsetting people?
for getting blocked.
Yeah,
I wish I
well,
could do that well.
you got to be good at something in life.
Okay, if I ask everybody here to swear off blocking, would you do it or just no way?
I've never
Wait, what?
blocked
Say what?
anybody.
No.
Swear off blocking.
Swear.
I've never blocked anybody, and I will never block anybody. If I don't want to talk to somebody, I just won't talk to them. I mean,
No, I had to block. I had
I'm
to
not a
block
fan of
because of the severe troll I had.
well, I mean,
This wasn't just any ordinary troll. This guy was
always-
copying. This guy was cloning my
Identity.
This guy was cloning my Google and my YouTube with my real name.
Wow, that's pretty severe.
Yeah.
And putting up pornographic pictures.
Yeah, I mean, he had some of you guys here believing that he was me.
I'm
I
Pat.
think I'd be able to tell the difference. So.
That's professional trolling. That's.
Who you talking? I'm the real Pat.
Yeah.
No, but look, if I
There
turned off...
was a really naughty one of a guy with a moustache, porn actor from the 70s.
Oh, could you say that again? You kind of faded out there, Sam.
Sorry, I'm just saying there was a really bad one he put up of a porn actor from the 70s with a moustache.
Oh, my. I was just going to say that if I could turn off the blocking algorithm for a month, you think, all the, would anything change? I guess people could get into more hangouts, right? That's the only reason that I don't like blocking is you just can't get into hangouts.
Yeah,
you
well,
can't
see,
get people together.
what happened was, like, if you want to use that as an example, I was blocking, and then I unblocked so that I can get into the hangouts that I was trying to get into, and then by the time I got in there, it was like no sense in it because people thought I was already there, and back and forth it went, and then I said fuck this, and I left everything blocked, and I started to block more as I found out which one of those trolls was connected with another troll, and so on, and sooner or later I think people realized, but it still didn't fix the problem because it still destroyed something I was trying to do, but it wasn't worth the aggravation. The person that was doing it is mentally ill.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes.
see, if the blocking mechanism was fixed to where all it is just you just don't see the person's comments or hear the person, that would be different. But people are abusing the blocking system as a way to silence opposition by block. Like Brett Keane will block as many people as he possibly can, so that when he goes into a hangout, all these people cannot get into the same. I mean, it's a way to prevent people's.
Yeah, I've
Voice.
noticed
Yeah,
that.
and sometimes I think you're good.
Sometimes someone will sit there virtually for 8 hours and not say a word.
Yeah,
But
well,
that
sometimes
person-
that's a good thing.
That stops other people getting into the hangout.
I mean, sooner or later he's going to find himself all alone with all his clones, and he's not going to get his message out, so to speak.
Yeah,
On the
but
other
then
hand, if I'm trying to get into hangouts that I normally hang out with, say Simon, for example, and the lyrics, for example, I block these people that are in there already as my clones and causing trolling problems. I can't get back in there because I blocked that person that's in there, and I can't talk to Simon. I can't talk to the lyrics.
But you can just unblock them and then get in the room and then reblock them.
Well, yeah, sometimes it doesn't work immediately though, and then by
Yes,
the
it
time,
does.
That's
It
what
works
happened. Actually,
immediately.
that's what I did.
No,
That's
it
what-
works immediately.
Well, that's what I did, and it worked within a couple of minutes. And by the time I got in, it was too late. It became a ridiculous game, and a lot of it is Google's fault because Google doesn't do what they're supposed to be doing, or their
What are they supposed to be
function
doing?
doesn't
What are they supposed to be doing?
Well, they tell you if you have a severe problem with like that, if there's somebody, for example, copying your account, and you have to report it. So I go to report it, and I even gave my driver's license, and what did they do about it? They didn't do diddly squat. Yet when you just accidentally flag somebody because the damn flag is right next to the share button or something, it becomes a big fucking problem for the people that you accidentally did that to.
Have you guys ever noticed that? Like, you might accidentally press you block this button or flag this button. I've noticed that. It's like, oops, I almost accidentally pressed the flag button.
Yeah, well, I did it and actually had to unflag it right away. But the point is, it's so close to that other button that you want to click like or whatever the fuck else it is, and they make a problem for the people because something was flagged. But when it comes to blocking somebody or to reporting an actual terrorist sort of, trolling person, they make it difficult for you to actually do that.
Terrorist porn.
There's no flag button for a
think-
troll.
I think
There's no
what's
flag
worse-
button for a cloner.
Yeah.
What I find worse is in Hangouts when you get somebody that puts you on ignore in a Hangout, which Brett does quite a lot. So you end up not being able to hear that person in the Hangout, and they can't hear you, and it just destroys the Hangout completely.
Oh,
Well, that's
I thought
part
that
of the
was
blocking
off, yeah.
function. Because
It's
you can
called-
actually, in that ignore, you can actually block them after ignoring that time.
They do need to change it where, like, the host of the room, if he doesn't have someone blocked and someone in the room has a person blocked, but the host really wants them in, that they're able to get in anyway.
That's interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it could,
think
be
I-
it could be a better system.
Yeah. Google's way of doing things is ass backwards.
Well, people just get a sock account and use that.
Yeah, it's something's wrong with the way they do it. Like I said, if I can accidentally flag something and have to unflag it to make sure I didn't accidentally do that to that person, and I have to worry about that, and yet when I'm trying to report a serious problem and I'm having trouble reporting this serious problem to the point where I have to fucking send them my driver's license and they still don't do anything about it, there's some kind of disconnect in their process. There's something wrong with this Google.
And now there's some guy in Google admin that's got your driving license, and he's just got himself a mortgage and
Well,
all in your name.
I know there's programs you can unblack out, but I did scratch out the driver's license number and stuff.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
I just took it into Paint Shop, to the paint program
smart,
and just
man.
scratched it out. But the point is that they were asking for this identification just to report a scumbag. I mean, like, what the fuck? And you put the flag button next to something that is not even supposed to be a bad thing. How backwards can that be?
Okay, well, just something to mind. I'm not to sidetrack here, but did you know, Mark, that Patrick is trying to reach out to the science community within and without of the great debate community, with a new science show called Science Sundays. Are you into science, Mark?
Yes, I am. Yeah, definitely.
Like, you could watch how long would your show be, Patrick? About 2-hour long science investigation?
I don't know. Thank you for making me the center of the tension here, but the whole idea was supposed to be modeled, and I keep telling people the same thing. It was supposedly supposed to be modeled after the two professional hangouts that they do. That's Fraser Cain's weekly space hangout and Tony Darnell's Hubble hangout, Hubble telescope hangout. And if any of you ever saw any of those, any episodes of those hangouts, you realize that they have a panel of a couple of scientists, and Fraser Cain will ask some questions or whatever, and there would be some topics, and that's basically the formula I was trying to reach for. But now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't look like it's going to work.
Why?
It doesn't look like I can have that panel, because that's what I was reaching for. But it's just not going to work. Even the people that I had under my scientist circle, there's Scott who's into technical engineering, and a couple other people that were actually scientists or at least pseudoscientists, and then there's the science enthusiasts, which include people like Oki and everything. And Oki was supposed to be my co-host, and it just never worked out. I was never able to talk to anybody about the formula of how to do this. And
what about how you narrowed it down to just something like your main interest of like astronomy, cosmology, NASA, that sort of thing?
Well,
listen,
it also had the idea.
Red lines into all that.
Yeah, it also had the idea of being the layman's hangout to talk about science, where stuff that you get your news feed and you see science news feed. I get a lot of science news feed. So like, I saw this article today, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm thinking maybe pull away from the panel idea and just have a hangout like you're doing right now. And anybody who comes in and starts Bible babbling, is just gone. Period. Right. We're in here talking about science and science news that we heard about. We're not talking about the religious shit. That's it.
Why don't you kind of like, aim it towards our audience here in the Great Debate community and call it Pat Man's Science Rage Fights. Something like that. Arena battle.
No, but see, that'd be your. In other words, that's your job. In other words,
Not me. Well, people want to see arena battle, right,
well,
Lyrics?
see, that's not me though.
Yeah.
Pat,
Me,
the Pat
me
Man
is
science guy,
Sunday,
dude.
or science hangouts or whatever.
Science rage guy, Lyrics.
I could see Pat replacing Bill Nye.
That's Bunto's idea.
Science rage.
See
That
what I
could
mean?
be a cool show, Pat. Little science
It could
rage.
be, but it's not me, and I couldn't pull that off.
But that's your shtick, dude.
I mean, you beat the hell out of these Bible babblers. I want to see it.
Only
Every
if I
Friday
have
night.
enough wine.
Yeah, bro, you're all talk, bro. You're just
I wanna
feeding
see
us
you
talk.
They push enough of the right
Brad
button.
Cam to a little greasy spot, man.
You need to challenge some people, Pat. That's what it is. You got to
Well,
say,
it's
you
true.
know
I
what,
mean, despite the fact that the honesty bit, I think, is that we all say, or a lot say, that they want to be involved in rational, reasonable discussions, and there is a place for that. But there are a lot of people that do like to see the shouting and screaming and the
Yeah, there is.
drama.
Well, don't you like that, Mark?
In my opinion,
Yeah, I enjoy a bit of that sometimes. Yeah.
it's too many people. See, let me give you the example I gave. I think I might have given some of you already. I have two Facebook groups that I started at the same time, almost simultaneously. One of them has 145 or 150 members.
Which is
And
good.
this is over 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. I started these groups. To this day, it still only has like less than 150 people. The other one is approaching 4,000 members. And here's the names of them. The first one with 150 people is Curiosity Landing Celebration and all NASA's exploration, whatever. Okay, it's all about science. There's no religious debate in there whatsoever. The second one that has close to 4,000 members now is called Atheists for the Advancement of Science, Reason, and Morality. All it has to do is have the word atheists in it, and they come flocking.
Right.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to make a hangout more geared towards the Curiosity's landing celebration hangout, I'm gearing it to the science.
I mean, as far as the
Right,
science, I think the best thing I've seen as regards to science all week, probably all this year so far, was the Russian guy that's volunteered to have his head cut off and transplanted onto someone else's body.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, he's only 30.
Have you heard of that one, Pat? I never heard of that one.
No, but see, to me, that's
Brandon.
the sensationalized conspiracy, sensationalizing.
No, this is true. No, this is true.
dude.
His name's Valery Spirinov or something. He's 30 years
You're
old.
not, huh?
Yeah, he's suffering from something called. He's got a disease called Werdnig-Hoffmann disease, and his health is rapidly going downhill.
Right.
And a surgeon has approached him and said, look, the only way you're going to live, your body's going to die, and we can, you're going to die anyway fairly soon, so we can cut your head off and transplant it onto someone else's body. And
that was a movie in the 70s with Rosie Greer and Ray Milland. Okay, yeah.
And he said he's actually going to go for it.
And with a name like Valerie, it could be anybody.
The problem with that is you have to find a volunteer.
Well, they'll take a recent cadaver and they reckon it could send him mad.
The ultimate Frankenstein.
There's an Italian surgeon that's willing to do it and set it up. It's going to take 150 doctors and nurses to do this. It's like 30 odd hours operation, and 150 doctors and nurses. I'll give you it shows you the procedure, but they reckon that when he comes to, if he survives the operation, he might go mad, or his body will reject the head.
Wow.
Or sorry.
Okay, well, let me say this, Mark. Okay, I offered science rage. You're offering weird science, right?
Weird science.
Well, I'll put the link in the sidebar there.
Can you imagine that? If that actually works, that's
It's alive!
Frankenstein.
How about something like atheistic science is the only true science? Yeah.
Just imagine you wake up, dude, and you're on like a completely different colored body. Like you got a white head and a black body.
That was great. I have that movie.
Or you've got a 30-year-old head and the body of a 10-year-old.
I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs. It's because you got no arms.
I'm not surprised. You cut your fucking arms off yesterday. Or the guy. That's the other joke, isn't it? About the guy that wakes up in the hospital bed, and it comes round and the doctor's with him, and he says, "How'd it go, doctor?" He said, "Well, I'm afraid you had a terrible accident, and we had to There's good news and bad news. And the guy said, well, what's the bad news? He said, well, we had to cut both of your legs off. The guy says, oh, shit, what's the good news? He said, the bloke in the next bed wants to buy your slippers.
But okay, listen, Mark, have you ever thought about doing your own show, your own hangouts?
Actually, funny you say that. I and a friend of my good friend Wayne and I were going to do a regular hangout, all things sort of based on a British perspective, because there isn't much of that. There isn't much of that around. And I was going to call it a British perspective, but that's a bit corny. But yeah, we sort of haven't got off the ground with it yet. It's just finding the time to do it.
How about the limey perspective?
No, we could call it, if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking Japanese, maybe.
Right.
Bunto, you really have to stick to your own thing, like you're doing it right now.
Oh, you like it? Thank you.
Stop suggesting to people what they should call theirs.
It's
well, I like the idea that you've had you'd had questions for me already sorted out, so it wasn't a general chat. I like that idea, because there were questions that I wasn't expecting, and it makes you think a bit more.
A little bit of organization, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Subterfuge. Well, look, Mark, I think people would tune into the show. We like what you have to say, especially when you
Well, thank you. Yeah.
tear up the Bible beaters like Mac.
Mac is just.
Could you foresee doing a show with somebody like Mac?
Yeah, you're quite short. You're a twat. See you later.
I'd like to go into a hangout from this guy you call Mac. I'd like to go into one of his hangouts and say, it must be aliens!
No, Mac is his Bible beater. He's I
figured I'd throw a wrench in his Bible works by saying something like that.
Sadly, Von Helton's blocked my main account, this account, because obviously I made the mistake of going through his. I was genuinely fascinated, because I'd not come across him before as such, and I was fascinated to find out all the things I'd heard, and went through his Encyclopedia Dramatica with him, which he wasn't happy about. But I was genuinely interested to find out what the guy was about.
He's fascinating. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. They're not great, but it was just, this is a man that's died 3 times and come back to life. His original design for the stealth bomber was stolen by the American government. He's been a vampire. He's been the Punisher.
Oh my God! All I know is
he's a secret space marine.
He's been a vampire. That one I never heard.
Yeah.
He is the only example of the fine Kentucky toothless vampire.
He is. He, by his own words, he says, "I'm not disparaging him." He said that he has trained, and he's a fully trained ninja.
Yeah, Mark and I had some fun with him a while back. We were both we were laughing so hard.
Yeah, just examining.
He is completely convinced of all of this. He thinks that he has an allergy to the sun, and that his mother had to pull out his elongated canines when he was younger. So yeah, he really believes he's a vampire.
Not keen on garlic, that sort of thing. Crosses.
Von Helton.
Yeah, and he's also he also said that he's met a poltergeist or two. He's also what's the other one he said?
That house.
And yet,
The upside down house. Yeah.
Upside down house.
I heard him speak about being a ghost hunter, and he was actually applying logic and reasoning, and he found out something about the heater underneath the stairs was causing the stairs to creak or whatever, and he actually did that very well and scientifically. This is Von Helton that actually said this, and I listened to his whole story about he went into this woman's house and did this whole ghost hunt thing and told her that it was the heater on their stairs. I mean, this was
But he also got
scientific of him to say these things.
He also got accosted
this
by
guy
a woman.
He's a vampire?
No, a woman in the street accosted him and said, "I know who you are." Another bracket to the Punisher, and said she had some problems. So he went into the house with his guns and everything, and went into the kitchen, and all these knives were flying through the air, and it was obviously a poltergeist, and he couldn't do much more for the woman, and had to leave.
Yeah, he fought a demon in the kitchen. So yeah, the same guy who applied logic and reason to ghost hunting with the heater under the stairs is the same person who will say in the very next breath, "Yes, but I also fought a demon in the kitchen one time."
And he's done exorcisms and stuff like that.
Yeah, this what makes me think either he is mentally ill, or he just likes to talk this stuff.
Oh, he was a computer repairman once as well.
All I know is that the guy
he was responsible for the internet acronyms like LOL and BRB. He invented
them. He didn't trademark those. Like, all I know is the guy is in there early. The Hangouts for Nadia. That's what I've noticed.
Oh, he's been reincarnated several times. He has pictures of him living.
He has. He's been died a few times, come back to life. What can you say to that?
Pictures from like 1850s, dude, that look just like him, exactly like him.
Well, yeah,
he's also looking for a new wife, by the way. If you can find a nice, tight 20-year-old, he's looking for a replacement for Andrew.
Well, I was thinking too old there, man. Still too old for him. I mean, he's pushing 50.
Nadia, wouldn't that solve two problems? You know, kill two birds with one stone.
Oh man, get those two together, huh?
He once said to me, "Oh, you're not as old as me. You don't know. I've experienced this." I said, "Mate, I'm the same age as you." And he said, "No, you're not."
Oh,
what can you say to that?
You sure?
So how old does he claim to be?
He's early 50s, he says.
Oh, come on, Mark. He's just the
inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
The guy's had a hard...
his other lives, Mark. It's well
exactly.
over 300.
As I say, he's had hard lives. So, it ages a person.
He also claims that he has depleted uranium poisoning, and it doesn't make sense because he was an M60 driver, but they didn't use depleted uranium on M60s that I'm aware of, and first deployment of DU was during the Gulf War, actually, maybe even Panama.
Right.
Anyway, a very character, early in the morning.
Great character. And we need characters like that in G+.
The funny thing is, I first came across him and
Rand Campbell, because Rand Campbell is telling stories that he trained in Africa with the tribesmen and for 6 years and became a chief or something of the tribe, and then he began teaching hand-to-hand combat to all the tribesmen in Africa.
Yeah, but he admits that obviously that was to push certain buttons, so he knew people would flock to that video and say, "You're a liar." He also said he had a fist fight with 3 aliens on his front lawn. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, when I first met Van Houten was in Nadia's Hangouts, and I actually put him in my circles, thinking this guy sounds pretty cool. You know, he's a little weird maybe, but then it was like I think it was 2 weeks later, all of a sudden he started doing his wacko act, I call it. And he became a totally different person to me, and I realized, wow, this guy is either strange, a good storyteller, or I don't know what.
How boring would it be if G+ was full of boring people?
Nah.
I was gonna say, normal.
I was trying to think of someone. No, not you. I just, if they were all Nate Cunninghams, I'd take my own life.
I can't
Mark's
think of
pretty
any boring people.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lyrical. Let's hear you.
Are there any boring people on G+ that we can even think about?
I'm pretty down.
I thought I was
Yes, you.
with my scientific-y stuff.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
Painfully
you are the
boring.
most boring person on Google+. And you know what? We love you for it.
Oh, thank you, honey.
But, you know what? We do appreciate it, because the fact is there are those that vent and there are those that ventilate, so to speak, you know?
That's okay.
I'd say the funniest person in our corner of the community is probably Super Joker. Apart from Side 10 Atheist, Super Joker.
I don't even know that one.
Oh, is he the funniest freaking person ever?
Yeah.
Is he brilliant?
I would say he's one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Okay, now he might be like the funniest freaking person ever. I've seen some of his videos, and I've seen some of his parodies, and I've seen some of the. Oh my God!
Super Joker.
And he's so what's like under.
No,
he stays undercover himself. Like he just doesn't really put himself out there. But the fact is, like, he is like Alex Botten has talked about him, you know, and when he did his 30 or 20 like parodies of people,
Yeah.
Oh my
Impressions.
god. Oh my god. Put the link in the sidebar because I'm on my cell phone, so I can't do anything in the sidebar. But that was the funniest stuff. And that's
Super
what
dope.
really started it.
One of the funniest videos I've tried and find it.
No,
his,
it was one of the like it was literally just one of those like stopper videos, it was
Unique showstopper. Okay, Simon, you've heard of this guy, Super Joker?
you guys have never heard of
Nope.
Super Joker?
I'm out of the loop.
Yeah,
Oh
I've heard.
man,
I have.
he's funny.
I've
He
been
does the
navigating too
Nadia
long.
impression. Have you ever seen like on like Captain Awesome, right? Have you ever seen like the
Yeah, I know he was a little uncomfortable with it. Like he was asked to do it. I think Ranscam did one with him, but he didn't. I think Nadia got upset by it because he's got a beard, but I know that he didn't mean that.
yeah, well,
He
Nadia
didn't mean
was
it to be
upset
like that.
over
He was just
being
asked to do it
supposed to.
on.
Who cares?
Probably
But yeah.
one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. I'll put it in the sidebar
Oh
now.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
I wanna see
and
that.
and you know what? If it wasn't the one with you doing, God, what's her name? Shanna for Christ, right?
Oh yeah, Shani.
Shanny.
That was the
Thank
Jason
you,
Burns
thank you.
Reenactment Society.
Oh my God, that was one of the funniest freaking videos I ever saw, Mark. Even if you cut it and you just put like certain parts, like because I know it kind of went on. You guys were sort of making fun of like a whole bunch of people, but the stuff that you were doing and that Super Joker was doing was just, and Fiona too. Gee, man. I hate to admit it.
That's a show idea, Mark. Why don't you introduce us to all these, this talent?
Yeah, but Super
this
Joker is
was
just
back
awesome.
on Captain Awesome's channel. This was a while ago. Yeah.
The Jason Burns Reenactment Society was Ben Crowden. He organised
Yeah.
it. And we all did a bit.
No, I'm not even talking about that. This was just like one or two things that you guys did. But yeah.
Oh yeah, we did one on the Captain Awesome show. Yeah, where we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just those. Yeah.
We did another
just
one.
Out of curiosity,
I did
who's
Matt
the
Bell.
funniest Christian?
Funniest Christian.
Yeah, is there a funny theist that I'm missing out on?
Is there a funny theist?
Lusoyo is quite funny.
Oh, the best funny theist. He wants to get our best.
Lusoyo, he's quite funny.
He's funny.
Yeah,
I don't even know who he is. So that's.
What about that Brucifer guy? Is he funny?
Yeah, some of his stuff's not bad.
Are you talking about funny haha or funny crazy?
Well, either way, I'll take
I just watched that video.
Brucifer is a riot, dude. I love Brucifer.
I just watched that video that was posted. He actually had on the screen Shadow and a few other people we know in a hangout, and
right.
Yeah, I didn't watch it till the absolute end, but I caught like more than three quarters of it. It's definitely fun. Somebody or shit. Make sure before you post that video to have yourself a wank. We'll go like Friday naked.
These are like production videos that just, I've been watching so many hangouts. Maybe I should, expand my viewing.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it until just now.
Like the funniest thing I've seen lately was the Patrick Clone hangout. I thought that was hilarious, and then I learned, how detrimental it was to you. And then they made it private.
I never saw that. I never saw it, and in fact, I might not have even been in it.
I really don't think, like, as a person in the Great Debate for a long time, that you find really anything funny.
No, I've seen funny shit in the hangout. Lyrical. I mean, Pyong cracks me up on wherever he is. He cracks me up all the time.
Yeah.
So how have you been?
Oh, too invested in certain things.
Right?
Yeah, just feeling and hurting and loving and.
But it's on the better, right?
And hurting and loving and praying.
Oh my God! I was actually thinking of that song.
What does the loving bit involve?
Because that's what I do when you think of lyrical Orion. Okay, yeah.
So you got yourself a new...
I'm trying to remember the name of that band.
I'm sorry.
Just to give you an idea, Super Joker posted something today, which was his comment on drama on Google Plus, and his quote says, "This community without drama is like a date without a quick rusty trombone in the KFC toilets."
Right? Why not?
Not possible. And it's no big surprise. People talk shit about others and things leak out, pun intended, and will continue to do so. But I also agree it's time it gets dropped, because right now it's a bit of a stalemate, blah, blah, blah. And he says, anyway, I'll see you all around in a few months when I will reveal a super secret conversation that will blow your socks off. Old friends will become new enemies. Old enemies will become new friends. Empires will crumble. Vegans and CrossFitters will shut the fuck up for once. Cats will rape dogs instead of the other way around. Nate Cunningham will win a debate. Everyone will unblock Douglas. Prudent will find out what pony. Jason Burns will go rollerblading. Nadia will donate to Cat's Kickstarter. Chris Mouty will join ISIS. G-Man will say ask instead of axe, and Max Trivian will let it go.
Wow. Oh, see, that's why we love Super Joker. Oh my god.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, calm the fuck down. I'm a scientist.
You know what? He should be in more hangouts. He doesn't come into very many. He comes into the Captain Awesome ones. I see him in those ones, but I don't really see him in very many other ones.
No, I think he works and picks and chooses. But he is honestly the funniest guy on here.
Oh God,
But he's a British guy.
He's Canadian.
No,
Canadian.
Yeah, he's not British. He's smarter than that.
He's in Montreal.
Don't.
When I think of Canadian,
where's that block button?
You guys know Logic, right? I haven't seen him in a while, but
he does the odd video. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, it's good.
The Super Joker's funnier.
I mean, that's what I like to. I was part of a certain group of people for a while, but there's so much more stuff out there. I found.
Just look at his videos.
I got to.
Yeah, no, you just go look at his videos. He's funny. He's funny as hell.
I mean, another one that makes me laugh is Rand's Cam.
He's funny as hell could ever be.
Yeah, Super Joker is just awesome.
How long has he been around?
About a year and a half.
A year.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Golly, man, just shows you that I'm still myopic here.
We've all been around about a year and a half, at least.
I've been on a couple and a half. So but Super Joker's like he's talented as well as funny. He's good with videos and
yeah, he's an ironic actor, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
And of course there's Side 10 Atheist.
Right, Side 10. Okay, you guys make a point.
He does the caricatures.
Yeah, the character. He's a very talented artist.
And Nate Cunningham.
And as you can see, I'm wearing my
right?
I'm wearing my Side 10 Atheist T-shirt.
I ordered one of those shirts too. I got a certificate with it actually.
You know what? One of these years, we're gonna run into each other on the street wearing these same T-shirts. You know what? And we're not gonna know what to do.
Well, I was honoured enough to be asked to do a voiceover, one of the voices for Side 10 Atheist.
Oh man.
I did.
Yeah, but
yeah, I did a Cockney Rand Campbell as Pontius Pilate.
Oh yes. You already did that though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, I remember that was a long time ago. You know, you've been on it for a while.
It was last year.
Yeah, you've been ranting for quite a while there.
I have.
Yes, with that accent, that Cockney.
You have a great voice, Mark.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Mark, did you get a certificate with your shirt?
I'm not sure. No, I think Side 10 was kind enough to send it to me at Christmas for helping him out with the voiceovers.
Oh, really? I got a certificate with my shirt. It's in his typical drawing type thing, and it says, "This is to certify that some bitch called," and then my name, "is now totally qualified to win the epic street battles using fucked up logic like a motherfucker. Love from Side 10."
Right.
Maybe I'll have to
I hope you put that
you are a true atheist, Bowie.
I got a Christmas card with mine that said "Happy Christmas, motherfucker."
All right.
Oh, take it all back.
Yeah, that is so freaking awesome. Do you know what? Even if even if everybody else in the secular community ever gets something like that from Saitan, you know, you guys got it from the first year, you know,
Day one.
first
Yeah.
or second year, you know. I mean, that will always, you guys. That's
He's a genius. That guy. He's a genius. He is. He's a genius.
Well,
What about
you
the other guy?
He really is, because if you see what he does, I mean, he makes fun of people to such a brilliant degree. I mean, what? It's like you want to be made fun of by him.
Yeah, and I like the fact that no one is safe. Nothing's out of bounds with him, and no one is safe.
Yeah, it's like you just hate me and love me, Saitan.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what about the other cartoonist guy? You know who I'm talking about? Dark Matter.
Dark Matter 25. He's good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. No, but he's on a whole nother level. He does different type of stuff. He does
Yes, biblical based satire.
but with a twist,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
A little bit deeper.
He goes into, like, he actually does a literalist perspective with that ironic, like, did you ever think about it, you know?
Right.
Well, G-Man tried to rebuke him or something, I guess, made a video, and I watched it, and it was like, it was right over G-Man's head. He just didn't get it at all.
There was a real life video that came out where he was, like, on real, you know, and everybody goes nuts when that shit happens, you know, and so...
Okay, what show do I need to start watching to learn about Super Joker and all that?
Oh my god!
Well, I just put Super Joker's. I put the link to his channel in the sidebar.
The show.
But I meant, like, how did you guys learn? You did it from Captain Awesemo. I gotta start watching a lot of Captain Awesemo.
You know what?
Right?
You just gotta get more invested. Apparently. I'm sorry.
I just asked you, Lyrical. You tell me what to watch, and I'll watch it.
In the sidebar, Bunto.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what not to watch. Nadia poppin' zit fucking limo.
Okay. Now
yeah, no, just knock that out of your criteria.
getting
a whole lot of room.
Anti-Nadians. Okay.
Intellectual shit. You know what? You are missing out on a lot of stuff because you are bored-dumbing yourself.
I'm down-dumbing myself.
You're bored-dumbing yourself.
Bored-dumbing myself.
Yeah, that's a...
One of Saitan Atheist's best
I'm coning that, yes.
videos is called Brett Keane the Motherfucking Opera, which is good.
Oh, man.
He actually does proper opera singing. He did a G-Man opera as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
In the face.
He's quite brilliant. Actually, he did one G-Man, What's My Name? You know, oh my God, right? That one was...
Well, yeah, we could. That one, I'm happy to say I helped write the lyrics for that.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, you did?
And
Yeah.
I loved that one. That one was...
Just came up with the idea in an afternoon. He went away and recorded the song.
I love that you call it an idea.
That's a good job.
An idea. Yes. Because you're so intellectual, but yet you call it an idea at the same time. It's...
I wouldn't say I'm intellectual.
Yeah,
I think
but
it was a good idea.
The accent.
Yes, but yes, you're
Okay,
so you're smart.
It's very
I just
smart.
want to give everybody fair warning. I'm about to actually drink some of that port wine I have in the refrigerator for a couple of
Port,
All right,
port in the fridge? Are you insane?
Yeah, you're not
Exactly,
supposed to
you
put it in
don't
the
put
fridge.
port in
It's
the
like
fridge.
I have to,
You don't put
because
port
I'm
in the fridge
insane. What can I
because- do you
tell
know
you?
why? Do you know why you don't put
Cold
port
gin.
in the fridge?
Why?
You just
Because
don't.
the fairies fucking don't like it.
Yes, you don't put red wine or port in a fridge.
Oh,
It's
I
not,
better put it in the freezer then.
not the done thing.
The
not-
spirits don't like it.
The wine, port has to breathe, darling. You don't put it in a
You
fridge.
don't drink it with ice cubes?
This stuff for drinking.
Ooh.
Are you
Ice
freaking?
cubes.
Are you nuts? Are you?
See, this is what happens. This is what
Trailer
happens.
park
I do drink wine with
This
ice
is what
cubes, but
happens
because it's in the refrigerator, I don't
That's
need
what
them.
happens in Canada.
This is what happens when the British Empire breaks down and we let countries go their own way. They
Right.
start putting
We start
wine
putting
and
wine in the
port.
refrigerator.
Yeah,
Red
you know
wine and
what?
port in the
You're
fucking
right,
fridge.
right.
If you put port or red wine in the fridge, you might as well be a Bible believer.
Yeah.
You might as well.
I've got sitting on my body.
You might as well just worship Krishna and put acupuncture, you know, in your bones and like feel like chakras can be activated. I mean, what kind of
Well, that's my
are
way.
you?
That's my blasphemy.
Yeah, it is. That's
Wine in the
right.
refrigerator.
Patrick's a serious science man, but unfortunately
You
he
put
lets
your
himself
what
down
in the
because he puts his port in the fridge. And,
You call it a port? Okay.
USB port.
I
Okay.
guess it's kind of like a brandy. It's like 12% alcohol or 18% alcohol instead of 12.
Woo, that is
Port-
strong.
Just like that.
Yeah, pork can't get ripped. It's like bottom of the barrel wine, right?
That's
Red
great.
wine.
Oh my God.
it's not,
It's
Get a
cheap
brick.
shit anyway. It's like $6 or less a bottle, and
Hell yeah, dude.
it's not even real port wine. It's like it's not
Sangria.
Portugal.
heathens.
Okay, Lyrical Orion had a point that I should quit watching so much Nadia. Maybe we should have something that is like, should Nadia have a competition for 24/7? What do you think?
I think you got an
I
infatuation
know
with
everybody
Nadia.
just groans, collective groan. Did you hear that?
I've got to stick up for Nadia. I like Nadia, and I think she does what she does, and you either like it or you don't. If you don't like it, don't go, don't watch.
Right.
It's that simple.
Okay,
I think you have an infatuation with doing something against Nadia's Hangouts or something.
You can always turn the channel, right? So.
Yeah, change
Right.
the channel, man.
No different to TV. If you don't like it, don't watch it. It's no, people complain about just like gay marriage. Don't marry a gay then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. What else are you going to watch but Nadia?
I have it on in the background because it's the only one that's on if I'm working from home in the mornings.
Don't watch it all. Create your own.
It's
Create
there in
my
the
own
background.
voice
Sometimes
in my
I'll hear
head.
something and I'll shout at the screen, and then I'll try to get in, and then realise sometimes I'm blocked, or then. But yeah,
Well-
Christian Hilbigot normally pushes my button straight away.
Did you say Christian
So the
Hilfiger?
other thing you could do too is you could always listen to the Hangouts that you didn't watch live in the morning versus watching Nadia's, right?
I watch a lot of Xbox's Hangouts. They're good.
Really? Okay. You get into Nadia's Hangout just so you can say hello and good morning to everybody, right? Friendly?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Familiar faces, and
What do you think, Lyrical? Is that, good enough reason to keep the Nadia show going? The people?
I still think you have an infatuation with Nadia Hangouts.
Dude, I go in there and I'm instantly depressed.
Yeah, I think that's
I
why
don't got time for that, dude.
how can you be depressed with hair like that?
I think
that's
I
why-
listen
Hair is
to it because it makes
luxurious.
me feel better.
I go in there, I say
We don't
hi.
feel so bad, right? But we can.
I think most people, if they met Nadia in real life, they'd have a good chat with her, and that's the difference, isn't it? It's the persona that's put across on Hangouts. But really, are any of us in real life going to go up to Nadia and start ripping her to pieces? I doubt it.
No, not me anyway. I never did it, even in our Hangouts. But I think one of the reasons why I stopped going so frequently was because of the depressing. You go in there to become depressed, and
Right.
I'm already on the edge of being a depressed person, and sometimes it sort of set me
Mark
over the edge. Yeah.
Felt like committing suicide yesterday.
With the old adage, or someone said it, you should if it's someone you dislike, always walk a mile in their shoes. If at the end of it, and you still don't like them, you're a mile away and you've got their fucking shoes.
Right.
The funny thing is, I don't dislike her.
No, I don't dislike her at all.
No, I don't either, dude. She just she needs to help herself, and she needs to do what she's got to do.
I think it's great that a group of people have got together, and I'm not ashamed to say I've donated to Nadia before, and I think what Michael Ann and the others have done is really fantastic.
Absolutely. The only thing that kind of disturbed me was that she missed her plane yesterday.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's because she forgot to take the time difference into account. She was an hour out. So when she went up to get on the flight, they said, no, that left an hour ago, and she didn't hear the call.
Yeah, there's other funny things about it, and the thing is, I know when I'm traveling, last thing I'm thinking about is Hangouts, right? Like I go to the board, I take a look, and I do a lot of flying, right? And I make sure that I'm good to go, because the last thing I want to do is spend another night on the road, right? So, and she was in the smoking room, I guess, and wearing her earphones, didn't hear it, and yeah,
Yeah, that's the first thing I want to do is wear a
What's
set of
the
headphones
bill
and
too,
play a lot
right?
of music, and just in case I might want to accidentally on purpose miss my flight. I know what you're saying.
Well, I was thinking, okay, Patrick, could you do the 24/7 hangout?
No,
24/7 science hang.
absolutely not. I could just about get this damn weekly thing going.
Oh hell, you're gonna start talking about how crabs affect people and all this other type of stuff, and you'll be searching for material if it's 24 hours a day.
Is that true? I mean, how
About
come,
1.5 hours material.
but look at it, guys. Her hangouts are packed. It's hard to get into those hangouts 24/7.
It's
It's-
because of
It's
24/7.
really not
People love misery.
It's
Misery
not
loves company.
because of it. Yeah, it's not because of a factor you want to be part of. Let me put it to you that way. It's like there's a curiosity factor to transsexuality, of course, you know, and there's also a likability factor to Nadia. You know, you know what, I've told her many times, you know, that she represents what she's doing better than anyone I've ever seen, ever.
Yep.
You know,
And
I don't
I'll
like
take,
it. I
I'll
don't
take
like
Nadia
it.
over Brett Keane any day. Then.
Right.
I don't like it. I don't think that what she's doing is right, but I think what she's doing is right for her. You know,
Exactly.
and and the thing is, I hate listening to her, and I've gone off on her many times, and I can't stand her hangouts, and I don't go into them. But I love her. I love her.
Okay, isn't that
you
weird?
know?
Okay, Lyrical.
And I
Imagine.
called 9-1 for her before. You know, I put myself
Yeah.
on the freaking
Well,
line.
perhaps Lyrical should do a 24/7 one.
That's what I was thinking, Mark. I was thinking, what? Okay, if you were on 24/7 Lyrical in a month, what do you think people would think of you?
Bah! People would
I mean,
love
would they?
or fucking hate me, just like they already do. You know?
You don't.
No one hates
They
you.
develop a fondness for you.
People in my real life don't like me. They either love me or hate me. And you know what? The fact is, once people get to know me, they realize my little problems, or like what it is about Lyrical that
Well, everyone
you
has
don't
problems.
like.
but,
You know, it's like
hate's a strong word.
I'm not a bad person. I'm kind of an awkward person.
Like creepy awkward.
Yeah. Oh, very creepy. Yeah. I give people the freaking creeps all the time. Don't think you're weird for feeling that. No. Yeah, it's a common factor. It's something that I'm used to.
I didn't get a creepy vibe off of you. What are you
Thank
talking
you.
about?
A
There you go,
month
but
of Lyrical
those
24/7.
next week's interview is Lyrical.
Why not? I'd be honored.
You know, I told Bunto I would not do an interview with him, but if you guys want it, if the public wants it,
Why? We crave it.
Yeah, I'm curious about the creepiness
We
now. 'Cause I
want
don't see it at all.
We want Lyrical.
All right, Mark.
All right,
if you were on 24/7,
you know what? There are questions to be asked. You know, there are things to be answered, right?
oh, surely. Oh, now
if
for
I-
sure, it's on Lyrical. Okay, Mark. If you were on 24/7, you would be the most blocked man in
Yeah, no one would fucking turn up.
Because
No
who
one would be able
doesn't
to get
hate
in.
Mark, right?
Yeah, who doesn't? What's not to love?
No. What's not to
What?
hate?
No, I mean, what's
you
to
know?
love?
Mark is brilliant and insightful, but his cockish British accent must be hot.
You just sound smart. You sound
No.
snobby, Mark.
Did you say cockish?
Sorry, I just got to. I have to stand in here and go. If
It's
anybody
cock
thinks,
me.
if anybody
Yeah.
thinks that Mark,
but I
that
said
sounds,
it
sorry,
the way I said it.
lyrical. Please don't put Mark down by saying he sounds snobbish. Okay,
sorry.
Yes.
believe you me, from this side, that's not the way I read his accent.
Simon,
Yeah,
no one
Simon's
could sound
far-
more snobbish
Simon's
than
more
you,
snobbish than me.
That's what
except
I'm
for
trying
me,
to.
and except for Mark. You know what? I
No,
represent
I'm sorry,
the
Mark.
snobbishness
Mark
of
does
America,
not sound.
and
I'm
and
sorry,
you guys
Mark.
are representing the
Mark
UK
does not
quite
sound
brilliant.
snobbish. Really.
Because
Really.
there's a nasal quality that comes to you. You know,
Not a chance.
you know, don't throw this on.
Not a
you know,
chance.
I thought I sound like that. Fucking hell.
The young filly has no idea, Mark.
No, I got to stick
think-
up for
I-
Mark.
you can never say it the same way again.
Lyrical. If
I
I
gotta
was
stick up for Mark.
if I was to
always
speak,
found Mark.
if I was to
always found Mark
change, my accent and you wanted me to be posh, then I could change it so that it was that this is what you would call a posh English accent.
Okay.
No, I gotta
Very
stick up for
very
Mark.
very
I've always
pronunciated
found
and
Mark
very
to be
very
more
exact.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Almost,
my,
Mark.
Because if you could actually convince me that you had a posh British accent, then I would actually be convinced that you were a chameleon type of person. But the fact is, I don't think that you actually can convince me that you have a posh British accent. I don't think that you can convince me that you can be.
Well, if I wished to, young lady, I could be much posher if you wanted me to, much more eloquent and.
What school? Yes. What school did you go to, Mark? What school
I did go to a grammar school when I was younger.
There we are then.
From the age of 11, yes. Portsmouth Northern Grammar School, actually.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and before they turned comprehensive, before that awful Labour government got in.
It just sounds.
No, I like you better in your natural way, Mark. I always
you sound just like one of the House of Lords, man.
I always thought you were brilliant, Mark, and don't change your accent for the sake of anybody else.
I couldn't keep that. Although I did have another account which is called Barry Butcher, which is based on an English sort of version of Rand Campbell, gravel voiced and Cockney and ex-con boxer, and there was the same. That's the same voice I used in the Side 10 video where it's all talking a bit like that, you know what I mean, son? Don't fuck about.
Oh, that's good. That's good, Mark. That's real good. Yeah. You fucking criminal.
I remember talking to Raw and said, "Shut up, Raw, you crying in your beard, get out of it, you fucking fire and brimstone."
That sounds like Christopher Hitchens.
You fucking muppet. Well, I was born in the same hospital as Christopher Hitchens, as I said, but that's where the similarity ends.
Okay, well, what about Annabelle?
Dead. Annabelle's lovely, yeah. She's a real life friend of mine. She's lovely.
Okay, well,
I've had Annabelle in a couple of my hangouts, and she has been nothing but pleasant.
Right, the British contingent: Annabelle, Simon, Mark.
There's
Wayne
Hudson, Jamped Jim. There's.
I've always liked Annabelle. I still like her. She just talks a bit much. That's all.
There is Andy Wells, Jim Riven, Chaswold is English.
Chaswold, yes. But I mean, and like it's just Nottians, let's say, so that gets my head straight. It's just you, Simon, Annabelle, who else?
But now you've
there are
elevated.
some batshit English people like Rodney and Commando and
Commando.
Now you've elevated Nadia into a race. What do you call them?
The Nottians.
The Nottians.
Haven't you come across that term before? It's in the dictionary now.
No, I like to see an all-British hangout just to listen to it.
That was the plan. We might
would
get around to doing
actually
it.
discourage people from watching Nadia's hangouts. You know, I really don't know why people still do that.
What?
You meet all sorts of interesting people in our hangouts, and Simon.
I would think that you know, that's awesome. You know, that's awesome. But how can you guys put up with so much of the mind numbiness? You know.
Well, the worst bit for going into Nadia's hangouts was getting told off for getting Hermine's name wrong all the time.
Excuse me.
Hermine.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you could get a whole lot of things wrong with Nadia, if you know what I mean.
Annabelle kept calling her Hermione.
Yeah, dude.
And Hermione.
I did that.
I had to call her Annabelle just a few times.
At least.
I called her Hermione on purpose recently.
But trust me, Annabelle is a lovely woman. She really is.
Yeah, she is a very mature woman. You know.
So Annabelle is in, Fiona's in, Wendy's out.
Okay, Fiona.
Yeah, isn't she the scientist? No, she's a.
She's a British.
She's a biologist.
Yes,
Wendy's
she's
out.
a scientist, right? Fiona?
Wendy's out, right?
I think she used to be, yeah.
Oh, she got a PhD or a master.
She used to be.
Very clever.
And then you stick in
You know what?
yeah,
she was clever. She actually knew some stuff back in the day.
What?
Oh no! I just don't think she works in that field anymore. But yeah, what she doesn't know about biology.
No,
it's not worth knowing.
The thing is, we don't ever remember things more than past 3 or 4 years. You know, I mean, if we don't use it regularly, I mean, not even a normal sign, nobody.
Right.
Nobody does. And if you're a professional and you're honest, you would actually admit that true.
There's Dr. Matt Hunt. He's very knowledgeable.
Richard
I
Raspberry.
played guitar
Richard
for 30
Raspberry.
years.
Back off.
I can still play A minor.
You guys are pretty freaking harsh for being like Fiona's like the only freaking doctorate that we have in our group.
No, they say there's Dr. Matt Hunt, but Richard Raspberry, he's not a doctor.
You know what? I think
I'm just a wannabe.
I like Jason Burns.
Jason Burns has a vast knowledge.
I'm just a wannabe.
His scholarship
is immense. Yes.
If you're talking scholars, we've got to go Jason Burns all day here.
Yeah, all day long.
He started his own school, man, his own university.
Is it a university? Yeah.
He's the only
for people that have graduated from PhD level.
He's the only Oompa Loompa that's ever got a doctorate.
You little umpalumps, little follower.
Jason, he's 5 foot. Honestly, he's only 5 foot tall with his arms in the air.
yeah, but you're the mini umpalumps then. You know what? You're the Jasonians.
Jason. No, it's you ask Blue, but it's Burnsian. It's the Republic of Burnsia.
Yes.
Burnsia.
And there's another nice guy, Blue. I like Blue. I like his Jason Burns Sunday morning Jason Burns report. I always watch those.
Oh, right. Yes, that is actually pretty decent.
We should organize the all UK hangout. I like to hear it.
Oh my gosh! You know what? You get off on listening to their voices. Stop jerking off to it, Bunto. Okay?
Really? I'll start one next week. Or tomorrow.
Then we have the Australian hangout.
Really? You can wait till next week?
Well, tomorrow. In about an hour. I mean, how can I now do a British hangout knowing that Lyrical's watching and jerking off to it?
A girl doesn't jerk off; she Janes off. Don't you know that?
Oh my god.
Ozzy.
Whatever gets you there.
Jane off. Oh, you know what? That sounds so wrong.
Jamie.
But he actually informed me of the fact that it was called Jillin' off. Because Jack and Jill went up the hill, and it's jacking off, and if you don't jack off, you Jill off.
Strumming, another word.
So that goes.
I've used the strummer.
Yeah, strumming the guitar.
For that informant. Yeah. I would have called it Janing off. He called it Jillin' off. Whatever.
Janing off doesn't sound sexy, though, does it really?
It doesn't sound so sexy.
No,
Jillin' off sounds like you're about to are you approaching a volcano?
Just strumming sounds.
What's happening? Can I dip? Something in it? I don't know.
I'm gonna have to mute everybody if I keep hearing this.
Pat.
Patrick's getting
I'm getting all nervous here.
Oh, who doesn't love when Lyrical is in this type of frame of mind, right?
Someone's trolling Patrick. Yeah, they've put up that 70s porn picture again.
Oh,
it's that guy with the beard, the moustache rather.
Oh, well, I'm not seeing it, so I don't care right now.
Okay,
as long as they're not putting my name and
it's no picture of me or of anybody else. Okay, yeah, we're cool. Okay. Okay. Let's move on.
Let's get back to Jill.
So
yeah, come on, Patrick's getting near the vinegar.
Jill is in Iceland
dealing
right
with
now.
my goals.
Patrick's getting near the vinegar strokes. He needs a bit of help.
A cold Arctic experience for a while. She's been trekking.
Just chilling with my posse.
It's been. But it's harmonic. It's butterflies and rainbows. You know?
How much did your dildo cost?
American dollars?
Lyrical has never a need for a dildo. Right. Okay. Anyway.
Rainbows and butterflies cost about $129.99, I think.
I think they're pretty good value.
Actually, there was a turkey. There was about $3.95 that I.
Yeah, there's more than enough dildos on G+. That's for sure.
All right.
I've
Welcome,
never
Chicago.
heard of dildos. You know what? One would ask the question of the same hangout. Oh, dang. Did she just say that? Okay, no, she didn't. And she would
What?
never
What
imply
didn't you
such a
say?
thing.
What didn't you say?
You guys are all intellectual bastards, and I really want to get to the meat of the matter.
What,
So,
yeah, the meat of the matter, you're saying.
oh!
In the beginning, Jill or not Jill?
Now, wait a minute. Be
And the
careful who you
answer
call an
is to
intellectual
Jill,
bastard.
my darling, if you're over 17 years old. Okay.
17.
Yes, that was
No idea,
my
Mark.
age of discriminants.
Oh, wait, you're after 17-year-olds. You're not
I'm
worried
waiting
about me.
Yes,
love.
you're old
No,
enough to
don't
know.
help that.
Say some more sexual innuendo.
Yes. Okay. Why do you guys want to hate on me so
Have you-
hard?
have
know
you got
what?
any-
Am I too
Lyrical,
real?
have
Am I
you got
too
lyrical?
fucking real?
I don't know. It's something to do.
Lyrical, have you got any English in you?
I love
You
it.
want some?
I have a lot of English.
You know what the next
but
question
I've
is?
never had a lot.
Do you want some?
of English.
Do you want a bit more?
Actually, I remember Lyrical
All
was.
right. You know what?
was-
Just
you were
look at
in
the
a hangout,
cigar
Lyrical. You
my
were in a
mouth.
hangout. You were in a hang.
All right.
You were in a hangout when I came in as Barry Butcher, in my soccer account,
Wow.
and you had quite
Right.
a low top on, and I did say something about I was seeing a nice pair of melons or something like that. You were talking about fruit.
You know what, Mark? You and I have
It
been
was
around
me.
for a long time. Why are you gonna try to call me out like that? You know, it's like shit, dude.
No. It was in a hangout with Raw and everything, and I commented on because I was in a different character. You didn't know it was me, but yeah.
Oh, you are scandalosity. You know what? I don't have anything to hide. You know, I'm the same. I'm the same no matter which way
No, I wasn't
go.
just. I just said I remember
What do we
being
like?
in a hangout where I made a comment about your breasts.
Yeah, no, I totally, I don't know all your soccer accounts, you know, so I don't know which one you are referring to.
Well, they say
But
soccer
but
camp,
I'm
people know
in, you know,
it's
I'm
me,
in
so.
hangouts all the time, so it's like, dude, you know, it's like you're in you're scandalous, you know. I mean, okay, I say scandalous and that means scandalous, right? Whatever.
Scandalous.
But that doesn't mean that I think that you're doing anything wrong. I mean, that means that you're just being a little bit secretive.
Raucous.
Secretive?
Yeah, you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Covert. Nothing
Actually,
to
I
hide.
would probably do the
Mysterious.
same thing if I
Okay.
was in your position.
Hang on.
Right?
You've got
You
nothing
know,
to hide.
because you know me, and it's kind of fun to be, you know, like
Like
what's
what?
she gonna say and not know, like
You
that
know,
I
the
knew,
sun
you
in
know,
the
that I
west,
know her, you know,
right?
it's like, I mean, that's
I've got no
fun,
idea.
right?
I've
You
got
know,
no idea.
we all get off on that type of shit, but
The
at the
weather
same
in
time,
Donetsk is cold.
but at the same time, Mark, I would get off. I would get off in knowing that you're in a hangout, and it
I
was
would
just
like to buy a
the
box.
two of us in a hangout, because the
I
two of
can
us
go.
actually know probably more about certain situations of the Great Debate than most people do.
If you've got nothing to
Depending on the
hide.
hangout, you know.
Yeah.
If you've got nothing to hide, I'm sure Mark can find something.
Oh, actually,
Bomb, bomb.
I
Bum,
would
bum.
put Mark to the challenge for that.
Yeah,
but
Mark.
but at the same time, I would hope that Mark would know that I would never want him to actually rise to the challenge. I have
Are
nothing
you
to
sure?
hide.
You got to
dude.
hide,
I have
Mark.
nothing to fucking hide.
I've heard it's a bit big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you get the hide, Mark?
Where's all this coming from?
Yeah, don't rise to the challenge, Mark. It's just too scary.
Well,
Oh,
Okay.
Simon.
well,
Simon,
Yeah.
are you? Do we know each other? Are you under another? Are you under another name?
Is this the real Simon?
Mhm.
This is it.
this is the real
This is it,
Simon.
baby. This is it, baby.
You're going a bit Barry White now.
Simon knows what he wants. Knows what he wants. Knows what he wants. Simon
Well,
knows what he wants.
and he's
Knows
had
what
it.
he wants.
And he's
Knows
had
what he
it.
at
wants.
staple of all my hangouts, I just say, Pyong, are you there? Let me see. Is he...
Yeah, buddy.
How you
Yeah.
doing, Chicago? How have you been
Good. How are you doing?
doing? Mark, do you know my friend Pyong?
Yes, we've met in a couple of hangouts, I think. How you doing, Peel?
Yeah, hi, Mark. Hi. Good, good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do that last time.
So,
Just practice gone
Pyong,
very
have you
quiet.
been glued to the Nadia saga that's been going on this week?
No.
No.
I saw something though. It was a Nadia hangout. It's a Nadia in Salt Lake City. How'd she get to Salt Lake City?
She's in transition right now. She's moving from Oakland all the way to Detroit. I mean to Michigan, excuse me. Ann Arbor.
She was in Oakland? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, big area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oakland's
man.
only about 15 minutes from like San Francisco, actually.
Yeah.
She's actually,
But
yeah,
it's a little rough in Oakland.
Right, it's a rough
I
city.
thought she was. Yeah, I thought she was further south. Okay, so she's leaving the Bay and she's going to where is she going?
She's leaving the apartment and going all the way to a trailer in Michigan, Ann Arbor.
Hey,
Michigan.
Right.
She is in Michigan. That's funny. Why is she
Right,
going
and, like,
to Ann Arbor, Michigan?
The whole community. Well, because she was going to get evicted and thrown out in the street, and you know,
That's a good reason.
possible death within 48 hours. So the Nadians teamed up together, you know, the fan base, to move her to a new digs in Michigan.
Oh, that's
And we're all on
awesome.
pins and needles to see if she can make it there. You know, she missed her flight yesterday, and now we're trying to.
She missed a flight.
Right.
Oh my God. Why'd she miss? She was doing a hangout, wasn't she?
Right. And everybody's saying that. But Mark, come on, Mark. It's just not that she was doing a hangout. She got the time differential wrong, right, Mark?
So I understand. Yeah, she missed. She got the time difference wrong by an hour, and then wasn't listening wasn't expecting to hear the flight call or something, and then missed it. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway,
So I understand.
the whole kicker of the thing is, Pyong, is that, you know, Mark was my guest tonight for the interview, and the person that is in charge, the event manager, is Michael Ann. Right? From the Nadia move? Right, believe it or not. And she has blocked Mark, so she elected not to come in tonight, which is unfortunate for us all.
Oh well.
I mean, because I really want to know what was going on.
Oh, with Nadia.
Right.
I think Michael Ann, to be fair, she's detailed who did what.
No, she did in the comments.
In the comment
great.
section.
Thank you, Michael Ann.
I think Amin thought this and that, and Rev News helped out financially, and some other people did as well.
Well, now, I thought Michael Ann was in New England.
No, Michael's in Philly.
She's in Philly. Okay, so is she going to live with somebody in Ann Arbor, or did they straight up get her a trailer? And if so, why was it in Ann Arbor?
Nadia named Bob. Your name here.
Your name here, yeah, but it's Bob's trailer.
Secured the living quarters for her.
Oh,
Free all the way to September.
Wow, that's all the way to September. That's
Isn't that amazing?
Good. Wow, that's sweet. How much is it?
I don't know how much it is. I mean, I'm impressed.
Yeah. But
well,
still,
if I know Nadia, she'll fuck it off.
That's what a lot of people are saying, and is that what we're saying? Like three months from now, we're going to see, the same thing, or what?
Actually, I would put money on it.
You'd bet on it.
I would not bet on it. I would put money on it, and I would win on it.
You do a parlay.
I know Nadia. Yes, and I've told you. I think I said it 2 or 3 times before this hangout got derailed right now, that I love Nadia. I love her as a person. I think she's a wonderful person. I think that she's just messed up, like a lot of us are. I'm messed up too.
What is she gonna do in Ann Arbor?
We all are,
Yeah,
but the thing is her messed up is a little bit more apparent than most.
I just can't bring
are.
myself to laugh about the whole idea of her moving to Michigan, and I dislike the things that she does. I don't dislike her, but
no, nobody
to have
dislikes
this whole
her.
conversation about betting.
That's why she's still so popular.
I'm just saying that to have a conversation about I'll bet on it, about betting on whether or not she'll fail at it or whatever. I just find it harsh.
Not betting
I just
that
find it harsh.
That she'll fail.
It makes you pull more.
I'm not saying that she'll fail. That's a difference.
How much exactly?
I love it, Simon. Okay,
What are the
look.
odds?
All right,
There's a lot of
Simon's voice drops a semitone. Then how much, baby?
What are the odds?
Okay, look.
I'll give you
There's a lot of
I'll give you 8 to 1
anti-Nadians out
again.
there that think this whole thing. Is
So how much are we putting up here right now? 50, 100. I'm just kidding.
Okay, look. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of people are saying the wheels are going to fly off the wagon. You know, what's our gut feeling? I mean, we hope that won't happen, but is our gut feeling, yeah, it will?
I mean, she'll keep living. You know, she's a
She'll keep
survivor.
living.
Yeah, she'll keep living. So it's not like, you know, whatever. I mean, she lives in Ann Arbor.
Okay, that's
good for
the
her.
whole point, that she just, keeps living.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Listen,
people have
Pyong,
helped her to
you
keep
said it right now.
another
She
day.
lives in anarchy. She lives in anarchy. We've all seen the place that
I
she lives
actually
in.
didn't say that.
Ann Arbor.
Okay, that was
I said Ann
Bunto.
Arbor.
Anarchy, Michigan.
Anyway,
Well,
She lives in Anarchy, Michigan.
Sounded good to me, because if you've ever seen the apartment that she lives in,
Right.
I would consider that anarchy. You know, I would consider it chaos. I would consider it discord. You know, I would consider it basically
Entropy.
No, entropy is something different. I would consider it a state of mind of distraction and delusion.
And I think she's not here to defend herself, so maybe we should.
Okay, so.
But the fact is,
she offers herself to an audience, Mark. Why can't we
Mark,
discuss
and
it?
And we know you're
Excuse
right.
me.
We shouldn't say anything more about it. Let her defend herself. You know.
Well,
let's let it ride at this point. You know.
Excuse me.
That's what I've been saying. Like, she's not here to defend herself.
Nadia will probably never ever even hear this hangout, so it doesn't even matter.
No, true.
You don't think that for a moment, do you?
I think there are worse people to take the piss out of.
On the internet.
Let's
Nothing
pick on someone else. Brett.
Well, look, she offers herself.
Let's pick on someone else. We're not picking on Nadia. We're using
I know. I
her
was
as an
I
joking.
agree,
example.
You're absolutely right.
Let's pick on the English again. That's all we're on.
Okay, look, we feel bad talking about Nadia.
Well, no, I don't. I think it's all right to offer opinions and people, but then I think when we start to dissect it a bit too much, I just.
Okay, don't think about
You're
it.
right. You know what? You're right to a certain extent, and you're wrong to a certain extent, because we would do the same thing to any other person. To G-Man's hangout, to Alex Bottom's hangout. We would do the same thing to Jaden Kane's hangout. We would analyze every
When you start dissecting them as a person,
we're
maybe.
going to analyze every
Do
single
it. Just do
person
it
to a
to Brett.
certain
That's fine.
scrutinizing degree.
Brett,
Different.
let's give Brett
Basically,
the
if you're going to be part of this community, you need to be held to a certain degree of scrutiny.
Oh, of course, yeah. You got to have a thick skin. That's for sure.
Yes,
power of
exactly. You have
ignorance
to have
would save him,
a
though.
degree. You have to be able to
That's the
like
difference.
and hate, love and hate being put under the microscope, right?
Right.
I have a stiff upper lip.
Right. So we're putting Nadia under the microscope, and Mark is saying,
Yeah,
"Don't."
too much
Mark,
start.
Mark,
No, I wasn't
all
saying
of a
don't.
sudden,
I
I
just
have
said we
this
don't.
huge degree of humanitarianism, and I don't.
Okay,
want
look,
to
I just said we don't first dissect
No,
it too
we
much.
put everybody under the microscope, Mark.
Okay.
We put everybody under
What do
it,
you
and
think
they
of that,
like it,
Mark?
and we do it to everyone.
What do you think of that,
It's-
Mark?
True. I think having an opinion on it is one thing, but when it starts going on too long and it starts dissecting them, their character and as a person.
Mark, it's fixation. We're fixated.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
like Nadia, and I wish her all the best, and I hope that she gets where she wants to be in life. Really, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm not fixated. I'm just kind of. I think it's great. I haven't heard about her for a while. I don't know what's going on, so I think this is fantastic. It's
I think
because most of the time nothing
Pyong!
happens with.
Pyong, can I ask you a question?
I'll have a pint
No,
of whatever lyrical.
you may not. You may not. Stop dissecting me. Stop putting me in the microscope.
No, this is a question that I've had for you.
No,
ever since
you may
the first
not.
time I
No.
your avatar. I wanted to say to you, because Pyong, it's like Pyong, I feel like going to a ping pong table and going.
You're welcome. Next question.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm asking
Observation.
you,
Ow.
girl.
Gotta say that.
Girls in the
For you.
skirt, okay? They're
Probably get an
marching.
X Factor with that kind
They're
of.
marching in order, okay? And this is a very symbolic picture. This seems to be very important,
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you. I always
Symbolism.
wanted to ask you.
Yeah, it's looking
Because
up the skirts. That's what it's all about.
this picture has struck me as being like
Strong
what
women
the
for the last
hell is
15
so,
minutes.
like,
I know.
why
I've got
is
it
this
tattooed
picture
on my
so
back.
cool? It's a cool picture. Why did you pick that
That's
picture?
what I'm thinking now.
It's many women with their legs
The
open.
answer is Delaware. Now can I continue with what I was saying?
God, come on.
Wow, you're okay.
No, I didn't actually.
Yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't actually hear your question.
Aren't you
I was
fixated
just
yet?
asking why you picked your fucking picture, dumbass.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I haven't heard about Nadia for a while. So I mean, typically nothing happens in Nadia's hangouts. You know, they just talk about stuff. So this.
Oh my God, you are the most boring person I've ever met, Pyong. Wow.
God, he's like, well,
Like
relatively-
all we talk about are like the things that are in the hangout and shit and fuck. And if a girl asks you a question about your fucking picture and you can't even fucking answer because you're so fucking
What does it matter that you're a girl? I mean,
okay, well,
am I supposed to be astonished by that? How old are you?
Asks you a question that obviously you don't have, and you can't answer, and it sucks.
What?
I mean, I thought that you had a fucking.
Has this hangout turned into a semi-musical?
I think the question was, Pyong, I think the question was, what's up with that picture?
Here, it's fantastic.
Pyong, I think the question was, what's up with that picture? Where'd you get?
Yeah, what is it?
Gonna go out west.
Yeah. When's the next hangout?
I stole it from the internet.
Yeah. Why? Why do you have?
Why?
Like, what's
stole it.
What's it all about?
This is just a gag.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Anyway, well,
Pound! Hey, Pound!
what I wanted to say is, how come you're not fixated yet? Why not?
How come you think you're rat, Pound? What's that?
How come you're not fixated yet?
On what?
On Nadia, come on! Haven't you been?
Oh, on Nadia. I forgot what we were talking about. I don't know. No, I don't know. But that's fantastic. I'm glad. I'm actually happy for her. I'm glad that they got it together. You know.
I'm happy for her.
What is there to do in Ann Arbor, though? I know there's a university there. There's a small university in Ann Arbor, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
I don't know.
It was somewhere to go that someone offered her a place to go to get out of the situation she was in. So
yeah,
that's pretty much the size of it.
Okay, but look, like tomorrow, I'm gonna start getting.
Could have been worse. Might have been in
I'm gonna get
Alaska.
bored with the whole thing, right, Tom?
Cunningham was only just down the road.
Could have been worse. Could have been. She could have been. Yeah, say Alaska or Siberia or.
Awesome.
Well, I tell you what. Personally, every place I've ever lived, there's been something redeeming about it. I've always liked anywhere I've ever lived.
What is?
But my question, what's that?
What is Mexico? I don't know. Keep going.
No, well, I've never lived in Somalia, so maybe there are places that are really bad.
You sounded a bit Rand Campbell. Then it was almost like, well.
Somalia.
My only question is, what is she going to do? You know, I mean, that's the next thing, getting a gig, getting something.
Well, she's going to do the same thing she did in.
Hey, Bunto.
Yes,
I've enjoyed your hangout quite a bit, but I have to say the Nadiaism is a little bit weird, so I'm gonna bail out.
Oh, okay, honey, but it would be have you come here.
Yeah,
that's it's just my fixation.
It's not my game.
I'm lyrical onion.
I don't understand this fixation. But it's not just you guys. There's more than you guys that have it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, look,
sounds great. See you later.
You talk too much, Nadia, and then the babes leave the room. That's what I've heard.
What babe?
Nice
Okay,
look.
Dude, seriously, how old is that
I
girl?
blame Patrick.
My wife is about.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
That's because you were too busy wanking in the corner.
Guys, I'm not getting enough attention, so I'm leaving.
Okay.
Okay, look, Pyong.
You guys talk about Nadia too much and not about me.
That's right.
No, but she had a point, though. It was getting like.
She had a lot of good
Nadia's moved. Nadia's moved the best part of 2,000 miles.
Let's talk about somebody else. Talk about me or somebody. I don't know.
No,
we talked about you last week.
we've talked about you.
That's right, you did.
1970s porn star.
She was actually trying to make two contrary points. One was that because Mark said we talk about Nadia too much, essentially.
Right.
You know,
No, not too much.
Right. Well, right. But then she said, no, we put her under the microscope. That's what we do. Anybody who's in the community exposes themselves.
Yeah,
and then so we start talking about Nadia, and she's like, you guys are talking about Nadia too much.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's confusing me too, but then I realized she was 17.
She who shall not be named.
I got the connection. But nah, you know, I give her credit for.
I did watch one of the videos, I have to say, and it lasted about, I don't know, 5 minutes before I went, there's a point. I know there was a point, and I had to go back and read the title again.
Who is this? Is that Nadia or Lyrical Onion?
No, I think that was one of the lyricals.
Onion?
Just, you know, the point, the title of the video was the last 10 seconds.
Is it that her name?
No, it's Lyrical Orion.
Oh.
Onion. Lyrical Onion.
That's great.
Oh, man.
I love you. Come back, Lyrical Onion. We'll talk all about you.
Okay, look, she has a point. I'm just too fixated on Nadia, right?
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I mean,
So
you were
gave
telling...
us shit. You gave us shit the other day about it, didn't you? You were the one in there going, come on.
I gave a big shit about it.
We need to find out what's really happening, you know.
Yeah, you were giving me kind of an update about it. I mean, you talked about it for maybe a minute, you know.
I want to be that person who's giving updates about Nadia, you know, moment by moment.
Yeah.
Okay, Bunto, she's in Ann Arbor. She's settled in. She's having a hangout now. Looks like a pretty good place. Bob's just done a good job of cleaning it up and everything. And she looks like she's happy.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good for her.
She said it's not claustrophobic. She's getting 4 bars on her phone for the internet.
Excellent. And like Brett Keane is sitting right there next to her, huh?
Fuck.
No, he's looking in through the window.
Okay.
That'd be like some weird Halloween horror, wouldn't it? Turning up thinking your life's sorted out and Brett Keane's fucking sat there. Oh, dear.
Well, I mean, we did a change of venue or we did a change of life. That's really what I'm getting at. That's the whole meta of my inquiry.
She seemed excited, and I think there were plans going forward to not just put her there and forget about it. I think there are plans going forward to actually make some progress.
I'm just so amazed at the generosity of these people. It's impressive.
Yeah. Bob has been outstanding. Michael Ann, as we're saying.
Yeah, they all have.
I mean, Michael Ann's been brilliant.
Anybody that's donated and helped.
He's a great organizer.
And then let's not forget there were lots of people donated going back a year.
Right.
Last time, so lots of people have donated. It's not just the last week. There's people, even if it's been $5. Everyone that's done that has helped to keep Nadia afloat, as it were.
Okay, I'm sitting in the audience and I'm looking at this, and you know the music's playing and everything is just everybody in the audience is like gasping and crying and stuff like that, and I'm the guy sitting there saying, okay, when is this Nadia gonna thank everybody, right?
Yeah.
She hasn't. She hasn't thanked everybody. She has. She's got.
She has, she has, right, Pyong? She's thanked everybody, right?
Yeah, at least,
Surely
right?
she thanked everybody.
She's had to have said like. She's had to have said thank you. She didn't. Did she? Did she? Is that what you're saying? She hasn't said thank you to everybody?
I don't know.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it like it matters, you know.
Does it matter? I think it matters.
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, certainly you should be gracious about it. Sure.
Good form.
You know, I just hope she finds a system. She needs a system. You have to, you know, just a little money grabbing system or employment or something. But if she can't get employment,
She needs a husband, Pyong.
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Mr. Nadia.
Although I tell you what, Ann Arbor, Michigan is not very far from me. It's much closer than she was.
Okay, if you met Nadia in real life, you'd be like kind of starstruck, Pyong?
Not at all, but I'd hang out with Nadia. You know,
You would go have a beer.
Yeah.
Take her on
for
a
sure.
date. Take her on a nice date to a movie.
Yep.
Candlelit dinner.
Bit of wine.
Moonlight walk. You know.
Beer to conversation, yes.
Walk her back to the trailer.
Sizzler in the trailer.
We'll have the video cameras set up for you.
That's Simon blocked from future Nadia hangouts then.
Annabelle, finally.
Speak to the devilette and she shall appear. I'm only kidding.
Okay, Annabelle, I talked too much about
I
Nadia.
haven't even
Right?
got to the punchline, guys.
Patrick's going to get too excited now.
I'm laughing too much. Carry on now. Oh.
Well, she's out of pocket right now. Anyway, okay, listen.
Hello, Annabelle.
Is she there?
No, she'd let you do that if it was live on Hangout.
Let you do what?
When you're back at the trader. Welcome.
All right. Oh, I see.
Okay, well, anyway, my mind is a blank. Okay, what do you guys want to talk about? Nadia?
Yeah, that's what the whole point was. It's all you can talk about.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
Face it, Bunto, you got a Nadia fixation.
Yeah, you need to get out a bit more. But,
Well, wait a minute. I mean, this is the first time anything's happened in like 18 months to Nadia.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, the hospitalization, that was big stuff the first couple of times, but then,
They
you know,
chopped
whatever.
the shit out of me.
Yeah.
You
Now
know,
it's big time.
turned on the thing and there was no Nadia hangout.
that was a little uncomfortable, only because I thought that what if something terrible happens and we have to watch people doing CPR and getting the old paddles out live? That'd be awful.
Yeah. That'd probably
Clear.
be the first time for Clear.
Hangout.
On a live hangout, that'd be awful.
The last hangout.
Twist the laptop. Twist the laptop.
Okay.
I know I shouldn't, but that did run through my head. I thought, yeah, but what if Nadia's ill and something? It just turns for the worse, and they have to rush in and just be awful.
Yeah. It's a thought, but it's not something we should be laughing about.
No, but it,
Feel kind of awkward.
with hindsight, obviously that didn't happen, so it's okay to laugh.
It's a nervous type
I just
of
felt uncomfortable for that reason because that was what was running through my head. You don't want to watch people in hospital, really.
Oh, no. No, God, no.
Not unless they're having a really interesting operation. That'd be good.
Okay, well,
I can see if I still have the tapes saved for my eye surgery.
I thought you were going to say vasectomy then.
Well, I'll see if I can post that for you.
Patrick's vasectomy live.
Okay, well, I mean, let me see. What else can we talk about? Guys, my mind's a blank.
We can talk about me.
Well, Annabelle, I asked you a question about
yeah, there she is.
Let's get lyrical back in.
I didn't hear you. I just thought I fell asleep because I'm.
Oh,
no, let me tell you.
Watching this one out for the sleep. See, my own fucking interview. Some friend you are. And you
No,
fall asleep.
Mark sent me the link about 3 hours ago, and I said, "Brilliant, I'm going to watch." And then I fell asleep.
You fell asleep.
Thanks, love.
After the first question.
But I woke up and put it on, and then I heard people saying nice things about me, and I thought, hang on a sec, this isn't right. There's nothing wrong here, because people don't normally say nice things about me. So I just thought I'd come and prove you all wrong.
All right.
Well, this won't take long.
Yeah, exactly, Simon. It won't take long.
I told you that would work.
Yeah.
Talk nice about her because she's not here. She's probably listening.
Yeah, my ear.
Okay,
my
Patrick.
ear's pricked up. Annabelle's lovely. I don't normally get. That's not normally a word that's used to describe me.
Okay, Annabelle.
That was me, I think, but I've been drinking.
I'm not. Well, I knew. I knew that. I thought the Jack Daniels is on the table, definitely.
What is out of the refrigerator?
Normally, Mark avoids having any knowledge of me whatsoever. When people say, "Oh, Annabelle's your friend,"
Annabelle who?
Yeah, yeah. Well, sort of.
Can you believe Patrick puts port in the fridge?
Port?
Yeah, port in
I
the
thought
fridge.
go and squeal on me like that.
Do you know what I think it is, though?
It's just disgusting.
Mark, you're talking about two different things. Port wine is not port.
Isn't it? So I'm the heathen then.
It's a cheap. It's like Thunderbird. It's like Thunderbird or.
2020.
Yeah, it's very cheap.
The cheap shit that I used to have when I was 15.
Yeah,
it's not even Portuguese. It's made by Taylor. It's an American.
Stuff you'd get wankered on before you went to disco.
Because every once in a while I need a little help sleeping, and then alcohol instead of 12% that wine has, and I decided to pull it out of the refrigerator and have a glass.
Good port can cost up to $300-400 a bottle, so you're not talking about the same thing there.
Well, I mean, a decent one can, a port wine, a halfway decent port wine can go as little as $20 or even.
Patrick, if you ever get insomnia,
this is like $6 or less.
Any problem with insomnia, just go and listen to one of Nate Cunningham's hangouts for an hour. You'll be asleep inside 10 minutes, mate, I tell you.
Where's Shamos? Have I
So
missed
what is
Shamos
port?
today?
Or Shamos, yeah, he'll send any fucker to sleep.
Oh, yeah,
But,
shame.
God.
What
Wayne
is,
says
so what is
his
port?
voice sounds like he's talking down a 1920s Bakelite telephone.
Bakelite. Oh my god, I can't believe you said Bakelite.
But I like Shamos.
Wayne's.
I don't like what comes out of his mouth, but I think there's something very vulnerable and very desperate about poor little Shamos.
You fancy Shamos, do you?
I do.
You've got the hots for him, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
But only
So what
physically.
is-
Blimey, you must have
What is-
exploded when he was in a hangout with DPR Jones the other night.
I know,
So
I
what
did.
is
Did you
port?
see? Did you see? I put a comment in. I was like, "Wow, my two favourite people were talking." But I couldn't work out who won that argument really, because DPR obviously isn't used to people like Shamos. He can't be doing with people like Shamos, so he sort of brushes them aside. And
Before we go off too far off the subject, what is port
fantasy.
and what is the difference between port and port wine?
Well, port is it's from Portugal, obviously, and I'm not sure how it's made, but it's I presume quite a not a difficult process, but a long-term process of storing it for years on end, like brandy or whiskey.
Yeah, it's more like a
Or
brandy,
sherry or
right?
something.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
trying to do. I was trying to get more like a
British are so
brandy.
smart.
Yeah. That's what the guy at the liquor store
That's
told me.
because
Port
we used
is
to
supposed
run
be from Portugal.
of the world.
Port's supposed to be from Portugal, not from America or any other.
Did you guys
Well,
invent
I think
crystal
you can
meth?
get it from. I think you can buy it from other places, but I think the best port comes from Portugal. I don't really know enough about it.
He told me that the name actually came from a shortened word of Portugal.
Yeah, I can
Does
see that.
anything good come from Portugal?
Bunto, if the British didn't invent it,
Yeah,
it's
the
not worth
women.
having.
They make great cake.
Freebasing, crystal meth,
What?
revenge porn.
Yeah, he's just trying to.
Modern
Bunto.
computers,
I
British
appreciate
invention.
the help.
Internet,
Talking
British
over me.
invention.
Portugal were very powerful,
Telephones.
500-600 years ago.
What?
Look at Brazil.
Cheerio, mate.
No, that's.
Oh no, that sounds
I
Australian.
say, chap, cheerio.
Never mind.
Bunto.
Too many 40s films, black and
Oh,
white.
blimey, Governor. Oh, what, Mary Poppins?
I say, sticky
Mindless
wicket
violence,
is in
another
cricket.
British invention.
Bunto, don't quit your day job.
He
Like
has
you
a
did?
day job?
Is that what happened to you, Patrick?
I don't consider going to the gym a day job, I'm sorry.
Oh, that is my job, my blow job. Okay, look.
When he
Annabelle,
says gym,
this is
it's
the last
a
word.
bloke called Jim. That's what he means. I've been to the gym.
Jim, I've been in gym. Okay, listen, Annabelle, just to be the last word about Nadia, what is your take?
Oh,
I'm gonna
Well,
go smoke a
I'm
cigarette
trying
while
to
you
take-
talk about Nadia.
The groan.
You're obsessed with him, dog.
I've kind of taken a step back from that situation because I found myself getting into a bit of a toxic environment. So I still contribute to her Patreon account, but I realised that there was too much Brett Keane influence going on there, and so I took a step back.
Too
That's
much
a
porky.
fair response.
Too much.
Bunto, you moving to
porky.
Michigan now?
Am I moving to Michigan? I
Yeah.
wish. In my
Moving.
wildest dreams.
He's already. He's there. He's in Nadia's bedroom.
Yeah, right now I'm making the bed. Bed bug one. Okay, listen, didn't that bug?
Nadia's going to get the shock of her life when it's bedtime.
I mean, didn't you guys think about the
Bunto
bed
has
bugs?
no problem.
I thought, the whole new outfits, clothes, get no bed bugs, please.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. Took too much stuff.
I mean, I will say that she seems to have perked up an awful lot since she's had sort of, I mean, I haven't watched anything like I used to, but I have noticed that she's been putting on new clothes and hats, and she got very upset with people the other night when she moved into her hotel.
Right.
She went, you know how she just lets people talk and talk and talk and doesn't really get involved in the conversation. She kept saying excuse me an awful lot, and really lost her temper with one guy because he kept interrupting her. And I just thought, oh, it seems to be, this is another side to Nadia that I haven't really seen before. And I just put it down to the fact that she's possibly, feeling better because she's, confidence is up because she's getting out of that hole that she was in.
Right. Totally true.
Well, she thinks she's in the catch-22, which is unfortunate, right? When you're in that catch-22 situation, no matter what you do isn't right, and whatever you don't do isn't right, which is absolutely toxic for anybody, right? And they don't find those certain avenues to try to escape and find something good to do.
Yeah, good point. Very
Yeah.
good point.
She must feel 10 years younger, right, leaving that room?
Yeah, I think that's a big, big relief, sigh of relief. But I mean, like has already been mentioned, what needs to happen now is that she's been given this opportunity and she needs to take it, and hopefully she won't end up in the same position for another year and a half living in a trailer. That's,
hi,
you know.
Hi, JFK.
In all honesty, I thought she was like basically doing her memoirs before her death there, because that's all she was really talking about. When I die, and basically, I thought I was watching like the end of her life, when I was watching some of her hangouts.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, there is a point to the fact that her hangouts can be very depressing. They can. It depends. I mean, I can't. There are some very boring people that I mean, I talk a lot. Thanks for pointing that out, Simon. I talk a lot. I didn't miss that one, Simon.
Actually,
what are accusations you make?
I really don't think it was me that pointed that out. Actually,
Really?
if you go back and
I
watch the tape,
apologise profusely. Who was it? Come on, own up.
Who was it?
You're all scared of me. That's what I like.
I love
Anyway.
hearing your voice, Annabelle.
Yeah, just blame me then. Fuck it.
I say,
You owe me anyway, Annabelle.
Who said it?
Bunto, stop with the cheerio. We don't.
Oh, I know it was cheerio.
I tried to point it out once, but I couldn't get a word in. So
yeah, Jeff and I clash a lot, but no, I know who it was now. It was Patrick. Patrick.
Annabelle kind of reminds me of Pepe Le Pew. Like if you were on a date with her, she would talk so much that you would chew your arm off to escape.
Thanks. My husband used to use that analogy for when you've ended up in bed with someone that you didn't want to be in. So it was called the Coyote Ugly.
Coyote Ugly, yes.
Yeah.
Jeff, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, great, thank you. How are you doing, Bunto?
Pretty good. I'm just totally fixated on Nadia. What's your take? Where's the groan? I was listening for the groan.
Fixated, I don't know.
You don't know. Come on, Keller. What the hell?
He's given his opinion already. You've asked him half a dozen times already.
I've known her for like 3 or 4 years. So has something changed, or what?
Something changed. Okay, I rest my case. Right.
Yes, she's flown to Michigan. She now lives in Michigan instead of Oakland. That's.
Oh really? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, kudos to Bob.
Where the hell have you been?
Kudos to Bob for doing what he's done. I mean, he's
not in Michigan apparently.
He's basically given her a fresh start, and he's done it out of the kindness of his heart. I mean, I give him that, and that's great. And also, I suppose I've got to give some kudos to my clan because
pretty where it's due.
She's supplying the vitamin C.
Yeah, because
you are not going to get into another Nadia hangout in your life.
You know what's BS though is Revelation was like sitting there talking to Mark, and he goes, "You owe her an apology for making fun of her."
Bollocks.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, that has nothing to do with it, you know.
And I was about to say that I get kudos to my clan for what she's done, but however, I still think the woman's batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let me say the 800-pound gorilla in the room. This is the case
just gonna say, she's a great organizer.
Of theists and atheists working hand in hand to make somebody's life better. You guys can't deny that.
Well, the one thing that I hope is that she actually takes this opportunity to do something. People are invested in her now to actually do something and restart her life to a certain degree, right?
Right. I mean, is that everybody's vibe that, something must change now?
Yeah, there has to be some kind of accountability, for sure, From what I've heard, this has been a pattern, so,
I think if she doesn't pick this up and run with it, then she's going to lose a lot of support.
What do you think, Jeff? Is this like the libertarian philosophy, the freedom philosophy of people getting
Absolutely.
together?
As long as it's voluntary, yeah, I'm all for it. It's great.
The only thing I don't understand is she talks about job interviews and not getting them, and I can never put myself into her position to try to fully grasp her situation. But with the internet nowadays and the amount of time, with her connectivity, she seems to be able to connect no matter where she goes. Why can't she do stuff online? Why can't she do coding online and sell that script or whatever? She seems to be a genius when it comes to that, right?
I thought I read that she's taken a job from McKay. They're giving her a job or something?
No, McKay, from what I understand, is that McKay's trying to help her out to find a job.
Oh, right. So. Okay. Oh, well, good luck to her.
Yeah, I hope it works out. So who brought her there besides Michael Ann? Who was the other person you mentioned?
Ermine helped out, bought some stuff.
Rev,
Rev News paid for
Rev
it.
bought her airplane ticket.
And I think Aramine was involved some way or another too, sent her some money or something.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so what do you guys...
According to Michael Ann in the comments, she says that Michael Ann says, I paid for the hotel and the airfare.
Right.
Rev has yet to contribute, as he offered. And Michael Ann paid for the car service, which wasn't a limo.
Yeah, you don't need a limousine.
Karen helped out and drove half an hour to the airport to pick Nadia up because she missed the flight because she forgot the correct time change. Ermine bought a couple of duffel bags, and other people anonymously gifted cash.
Why not go out in style, Jeff?
Well, no, it's so is she there permanently or semi-permanently or what?
3 or 4 months, I think. Not sure.
In the Detroit area.
She's even mentioned even before all this happened, or while it was being planned, that eventually she wants to go back to New York, right? So.
Right. Now look, Jeff, why didn't you bring up the fact that the government did nothing, but the free market jumped in there and helped her?
Well, that's low-hanging fruit. That's obvious. That's I don't like to belabor the obvious.
Is that you didn't catch that? Did it? This totally went over your head. That this is an instance where people had to do the job because big government couldn't.
Well, of course. Yeah, that's always the case. Yeah, if people are compassionate, they don't need the government to get in their way and launder the money and screw everything up. They can, if people care about something, they can put their money where their mouth is and help them out. That's
so
the way
we
it
could
should be.
use this as a libertarian, example, right, Jeff?
It is. It's voluntary. Yeah, it's a great example.
I think if the quote-unquote community really set its mind to it, we could all probably do something for somebody in need once a month.
Yeah, we don't need the government to boss us around and tell us, who to give to and who not to. We can do that ourselves.
As I mentioned earlier,
What do you do to help the destitute? What do you
listen to me?
To people that have no support whatsoever?
Who needs the government when we have Michael Ann? That's what I gotta say.
Well, yeah. She should run against Hillary for the.
If there are destitute
hey,
people,
that's not a bad idea.
Did I ever mention
Can I answer that? If there are destitute people that have no support, what's the government doing for them now that they're so destitute and have no support?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Did I ever mention that? I mean, did I ever mention how the government is not helping me out?
Yeah, exactly. The government doesn't help a lot of people out, and a lot of people it harms. Makes it harder for them to get work.
I'm jumping through hoops for a few dollars, and I'm still trying to.
You need
what sort of job is that? Why jumping through hoops? What sort of employment's that? What for? Is it a circus job?
Well, there's
Are you a hula hoop tester?
Yeah, it does actually.
You work in the circus?
Yeah, it does actually resemble a circus.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Patrick.
Okay, well, let me ask Pyong something. Pyong, okay, Michael Ann versus Hillary, that's a tough race.
No.
President
I detest talking to Michael Ann.
President McAllister.
And a little bit dim-witted, but.
What do you think, Rand Paul has a chance or what? There, Jeff Young.
No, it'll be no child left behind. Every 4 to 11-year-old would receive free vitamin C.
Yeah.
All throughout. They'd abolish the milk. Fuck the milk.
Good for you.
It's vitamin.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question.
While they're at their desk, you just hook them up to an IV.
This is not related to the question you asked, Bunto, but I saw something. I was looking at one of your Hangouts or something, and it said that you had a picture of Kazoom, and then you had a little word.
Did you see it?
Oh, yeah, do it. What's going on? What's going on, Aphrodite?
The
Come
man
on,
has
give it
lost
to me.
his mind. And definitely a job for professional help there.
What's that?
I mean, you guys know what we're talking about, right? The latest Kazoom videos?
No, that's what I'm asking. I don't know why you had that.
I didn't know that he'd made some videos. What's
okay.
What did he say?
First, I thought a real bad one was, I am a perv. That's what he called it. Yes, that I'm proud to be a perv.
Bunto,
Where's pervert as a badge of honor?
But Bunto, you can't deny that you are a bit of a perv. You know, let's be honest.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
No, I'm eccentric, but I'm not a perv.
Oh, right. I think the
Pervert
thing
is like
in
something detrimental towards, sexually detrimental towards
Oh yeah, I think
society as a whole.
the British use it more of as a joke, really, than as
Okay,
a.
so it was a British joke. I mean, have you seen the video, Annabelle?
No, I haven't.
Watch the video, and then anytime somebody starts a video where they have to lay out the rationale first for their statement, you know, it's a tip-off that it's a real doozy.
I think that you broke his heart, Bunto. That's what's really.
Oh my God, that's news to me. Okay,
I think as a sort of a joking apart, I think that if you read between the lines, that's what's really going on here.
I think it like this: that Nadia was doing all this thing, so he tried
for whatever reason.
What did you say, Bunto?
That Nadia's doing so much, you know, she's gripping the community, so maybe this is a reaction towards that.
No, I love you, Bunto, and I completely see what's going on. I just think that that's what the bottom line is here. The actual bottom line is the rejection.
No, Annabelle, he never took me seriously. He was like,
a woman knows these things.
Kazoom is all about Kazoom.
A woman knows these things, Bunto. Do as you're told.
It's all right.
No, Bunto, I think you, Nadia, and Kazoom should go out one night.
That's one hell of a three-way. Okay, listen, he came out with the perv video, right? Which I thought was bad enough. Did you see the naked video yet? The one where he had to like block out his genitals?
Oh
no. Okay, I think watch that one, Annabelle. That's the.
How many times did you watch that one?
If you're that well endowed that you have to block out your genitals, then.
Here's a little something for the ladies.
How many times did you watch that one, Bunto?
I watched it once and then listened
73 so far.
Make sure it wasn't a joke, right?
How many pixels did it take?
Oh my God! I mean,
Bunto, I've been on the sort of receiving end of this kind of thing. You do show somebody some affection, and you sort of give them the impression that they're your friends, and suddenly it all blows into something, really sort of strange and weird, and you just don't know what to do because you've done nothing wrong, you've said nothing wrong, yet you're being made to feel.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that really got me was, just the abruptness, and then I thought we were friends.
It comes out of nowhere, right?
Well, yeah, he just dropped me like a radioactive potato, like a hot potato. He never told me why. He just blocked me. So that hurt because I thought
I had to do that to the person that had taken my affection the wrong way. I had to block him, and all hell broke loose, and I had a year's worth of shit thrown at me. So.
That is terrible. Well, people said things, but I didn't care. The only thing is that I was kind of disappointed in him that he was kind of wormy that way. But watching these videos, guys, I'm not really. It's like that meme. I'm kind of grateful. I officially thank God that this thing caved in.
Who?
Yeah. What?
You thank who?
Excuse me.
Right.
Where's
Excuse me.
I hope people got the humor of that. But yeah, I'm glad to get out of it.
Which one? Define him first, and then tell
us
which one. You can't just say.
Where's your evidence? Where's your evidence?
But all I gotta say, guys, is just for our listening audiences, watch those two videos, and you just know what crazy is.
Okay, so there's some action behind all this stuff, though, right? It's not just the two videos. There was some action going on.
Well, no, I think everything he told me has been 180 degrees flipped on its ear by these two videos. I mean, you have to watch him, Pyong, because I think he's trying to jump on this feminism, anti-feminism bandwagon. Have you guys been following with this, the new wave feminism? MRAs and MGTOWs and stuff like that. Manginas. They trolling.
Manginas?
Right, yeah, I mean, it's a whole new wave thing about feminism, and he's jumping on board that bandwagon.
Well, Matt Bell's got a vagina, but other than that.
But anyway, it's just, crazy is crazy. So
yeah, I saw him today. Yeah, I was on a hangout and I saw Matt Bell. I hadn't seen him for months. So.
Oh, he's been around a lot recently, annoying everybody.
Oh, really?
Well, he was just there for a little while and then he disappeared. He didn't say anything.
There was a brilliant hangout. Mark, which hangout was it?
Friday, it's probably pension day.
Yeah, there was a brilliant hangout recently. Try and find it, Jeff. Who was he arguing with, Mark? For hours it went on. 3 hours of Matt Bell, which of course I didn't listen to 3 hours of Matt Bell. I kept sort of jumping in and out. But who was it with, Mark? Can you remember?
I remember. There was one hangout I saw where it was just him on his own for 3 hours, which is a bit bizarre.
No.
Which is quite bizarre.
Yeah, he does videos where he's on alone.
Yeah, I can't remember who he was in.
Yeah, he
Wasn't,
argues with
last week.
he argues with everybody, like Christians and atheists.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
He's
He
very
probably
angry.
he
bitter.
probably argues more with Christians really than atheists, from my experience.
He's like the Mekon of G+.
Yeah.
And he's got the head to go with it.
Yeah.
He claims he's the only person that's beat him in an argument.
He's like the cross between the Mekon and Davros from the Daleks.
I'm annoyed now because I can't remember, but it was an interesting hangout. It was, oh shit, who was it? Sorry, I'm talking to myself. Carry on.
No, I've only had one interaction with the guy, and it didn't go well. He was like really. Yeah, he was kind of brisk.
If I was to go to the hangout and say,
Bunto.
I'm
not English, guys. All right, cheerio, mate.
The only thing with Matt does like the women. Matt does like women. He doesn't. He's a bit of a misogynist, but he does he flirts with women. So if you're nice, to him, but you'll see a different side to him. But it's creepy, so I don't do it. It's like I'm not interested in.
No, he has a friendly side to him, even with men as well. I mean, I've had nice chats with him, but sometimes it's been really, really horrible. Yeah. Definitely.
Like theological bullshit, right?
Yeah, when he starts, the way he argues is really, I don't know the best word, but he argues with you to a point, and he's very open-minded. But it seems like when you get him into a corner, then he starts doing ad hominems against you, and he's
right.
That's
what he did here with me.
Yeah. But before you get to that point, he can be very pleasant, which means though that when he does get to that point, it means he's not really pleasant, but he seems okay to a point, and then he gets really he'll talk over you, and he'll start just doing really evasive tactics of whatever sort when he gets kind of in a corner.
Just seems to me to be a very angry, bitter, unpleasant little man. That's how he comes across to me.
You would be if your family dumped you in a fucking care home.
Is that? Well, I didn't know that was his background.
I didn't know that.
That looks like where he's broadcasting from. Looks like a care home with that posterless trolley in the background. I keep waiting for a nurse to come in and slap him and give him.
I see what you mean. I thought there was a backstory there. Sorry.
No, I just assume it's a care home or it's at least a warden-assisted flat, something like that.
Just wait for a nurse to come in and give him an adrenaline shot into the heart.
Yeah, one sort of the sort of nurse, the same nurse that was in One
Nurse Ratched. Yeah, Nurse Ratched.
The music.
Bell, you bastard! Take your pills and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Can you imagine
those hangouts again? If the camera pans round, there's a 7-foot American Indian sat in the corner.
Okay, well, Jeff, you're like the most experienced hangout person here, right? I mean, you know all the creatures of the Great Debate community.
Some of them, yeah. I know the ones who've been on for a while. I don't know some of the more recent personalities, but yeah, I know a lot of people. I have some history with.
Do you know Super Joker?
That doesn't ring a bell, no.
Okay, there you go. My case. What do you say to that, Mark?
The funniest man on TV.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't do an awful lot. I mean, he doesn't do any hangouts, as far as I know. He keeps a low profile. He just makes very funny comments at just the right time. He's a very funny guy, and he's also very acutely aware of the dynamics of what's actually going on behind the scenes. A bit like Side 10 Atheist. He can see what because he doesn't get so involved. He takes a step back and he can really see what's going on. So generally, if you want an honest outlook on what's happening between all the dramas that's going on, go and have a look at his channel because he'll be spot on.
There you go, Jeff.
Oh, cool.
I mean, he tends to stick to the sort of dramas surrounding the whole ridiculous saga of G-Man, Fiona, and Alex Bottom. That's his shtick. He likes to laugh at them.
Yeah, one thing is I've never watched a lot of hangouts, or I'm really only familiar with the ones that I've been involved with. I don't usually watch any of the live hangouts. So, but I have been on for, I don't know. I need to go back to my emails, but I think I've been on G+ for 3 or 4 years. So a lot of these people I have known for a long time.
Well, let me ask you something, Jeff. Jeff, do you listen to your hangouts that you've been in just to see if your thinking was sound?
No, not really. Maybe that explains a lot.
I do.
No, I hate to I hate to watch myself actually or listen to myself.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't like it.
Okay, Mark, you don't do that. Go back to listen to Hangouts to see.
Now somebody did recently bookmarked something that I said, and they liked what I said, and I listened to it, and I thought, oh, that was pretty good. But
it's probably me.
No, it was actually Ozzy liked a comment that I made in a Hangout, and he bookmarked it right to the point where I said it, and I said, oh yeah, that was pretty good. And but I normally no, I don't listen to myself or go back and watch them.
So Mark, you listen to yourself?
No.
You like that Jack Daniels?
I do.
I don't go back and watch Hangouts I've been in. No, not really.
Yeah.
Why not? You say a lot of good stuff.
I watch. I'll go if I know Mark's been on. I'll specifically go and listen to the video that he's been on because usually there's some hilarity involved, and I could listen to Mark ripping the shit out of creationists all night, all day. It's hilarious.
Thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't go back and watch. Oh, wasn't I good in that one?
Right.
Darling.
The times
20,
that I have
20 years in the Royal Shakespeare.
The times I have listened to live Hangouts, they've been ones that I wasn't on, or somebody else was on that I wanted to hear. But even then, I just don't have time to do that.
Well, what about you, Simon? You go back and listen?
No.
Nobody listens. Okay.
I do. I'll go back because I want to hear. After I've left a Hangout, normally people bitch about me for about 10 minutes afterwards, so I always go back to make sure I hear what everyone's got to say.
If I've been out of order, Bunto, then I will go back and listen to it. If someone says to me, "Oh, you're bang out of order there," or calm down.
Usually I'll say I'm leaving, and then for some reason people think I've already left when I say that I'm leaving. And they'll say, "Oh my God, thank God he's gone," or whatever.
Yeah,
that's why I called you JFK, because every time I hear your name, it's Oz. Jeff fucking Keller.
That's right.
That's right. There you go. Anyway, the reason I have to re-listen to the Hangouts is because I miss a lot. Like, you'll say something, Mark, and I won't get it, and then I have to re-listen, and then I understand what you said.
Right. Okay.
Right. I mean, so you don't do that?
What and go back and listen? What?
I think because I've lost it a couple of times. Well, more than a couple of times. But when I've lost it, I will go back to see how bad I lost it. And usually, I don't think I've been that bad. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I normally know.
In your opinion,
what I've done in Hangouts. If someone says you were a bit crap in that Hangout, I'd probably say yeah, I was there. So yeah, I wouldn't go back and watch it again. I don't think.
Damn, I was right. I was brilliant.
No, but I mean, it's like funny things. Like, okay, Young, I listen to like our old conversations. I have the laughs.
Yeah.
I go back and listen.
I did watch the one where we did a parody. I did watch the parody one I was in a few times because it's just funny. Lots of people were in it. Where I did an impression of Matt Bell and someone else did Jason Burns and someone else.
Oh fuck! Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. That was funny as hell.
You should put the link on your feed.
You did that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was an off the cuff thing. It wasn't like
improv.
Oh no, that was really funny. Where who was doing Matt Bell? It was me.
Mark.
Oh, that was you. Oh, yeah. That was great. Yeah.
And Captain Awesome did Pillbox.
What you do and what you do.
What you
do it.
What you do.
What you do.
He even did that the other night. He even came out with that line the other night. He actually said it. What you don't do. And it was just like the whole Hangout when
it's funny. He's satire of himself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he didn't mean to do it. That's what he just
I laughed.
This is the way he says universe.
The universe.
Fucking cracks me up.
No, what's the one? The
cosmological argument.
The argument. That's right.
Oh my. Anyway, yeah, you ought to put that on your feed because I like to see it, Mark.
Oh, it's funny as hell. Yeah, do that. I'd like to watch it again, actually. Yeah,
he is a character. I mean, he's there's like all of these guys, like Jason Burns, Josh Shelley, G-Man, Turin Parasism. They just give you so much material.
I think Wayne Hudson played Bible Thumping Wingnut as a Jamaican.
Oh my.
Owen did Jason Burns. Pillbox was done by Captain Awesome.
It's not Owen, it's Eon.
Eon, I don't know.
And Alex that was an Alex Button hangout too, wasn't
Like
it?
No,
somebody
it was
should
Captain
go.
Auto mode. We started
Oh,
off in it was the Awesome Cruise show after show, and then we were off air, and then I said, wouldn't it be great if we all did a character each? So we said, yeah, we'll do it now. So we had like an hour to prepare, and I went upstairs and found some black electrical tape to make bells creases on his head, and I put one of my son's stuffed toys in a black sock. And stapled that to the back of my chair.
Yeah, that was really funny. Oh my god.
My favourite one with Mark is when he hangs up his running shoes and pretends to be committing suicide because he can't take the shit that's going on in the hangout. That's one of my. Every time you do it, it cracks me up.
There you go, Bunto. Put it in the sidebar.
All right.
Yeah, you'll enjoy that.
It was a spoof debate.
You know, what do you guys think of this? That somebody goes and culls all these hangouts for all the funny bits. What do you think, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
for all the good parts.
Yeah.
Take a lot of work.
Yeah.
I nominate Brojo to go do.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a Mark compilation of when he rips. My favourite. I mean, obviously everyone knows that I love Mark, so clearly I'm one of his biggest fans. So, but I'd like to see his compilation of his Noah's Ark.
Yeah, compilation, Mark.
Because every time he does that, I'm howling with laughter every single time. And I've heard it 100 times. I've heard it so many times, but every single time I still laugh.
How many Jack Daniels have you had, Mark? Just curious.
About 5, 6, maybe 7. I don't know. Half a bottle.
You know who's brilliant for that? For material for Mark is Mac. Honestly, that guy just comes out with the best lines.
The first ever boat, and it was a tropical rainforest.
The Mark and Mac show.
It never rained. I said, well, it's a tropical rainforest. He said, no, it wouldn't have. I said, the clue's in the fucking title, dude. Tropical rainforest. And the entire world's population of humans and non-humans were all in the Middle East at once. That's how they all got on the Ark. Fucking hell. Can't argue with shit like that, can you? So polar bears lived in the Middle East in a tropical rainforest, according to Mac.
Well, I've asked Mac that more than that, about 20 times. What about the polar bears? And they just can't. They refuse to answer it. They just ignore it.
The first time it rained ever, was when the flood started. It never rained before then, apparently, in the tropical rainforest. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like to thank all our participants for coming tonight, and I'd like to especially thank the interviewee, Mark, for such a great interview. I wish you all a great weekend, and take care.